What's up, y'all? And welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today I am joined by a very special guest. I am joined by my good friend, Eri, aka TsundEri. What is up, Eri?
Hey, I'm really excited to be here. I'm a little nervous, but I'm really excited to be here. I don't know, like, do I introduce myself or like?
In a moment,
Okay.
So of course, I'm very happy to have you here. And stuff. And so for listeners and watchers, we have a very awesome show for y'all today. Like I said, of course, we're going to talk with our friend Ari, but we're also going to dive into what we're looking forward to for the upcoming fall 2022 anime season. But before we get to that, as I always say, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Dad Needs to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, and sometimes video games. So, Ari, how are you doing today?
I'm great. I don't know if you can hear, but one of my cats is
Yeah.
just, yeah. I told you earlier, I was like, she's awake. She's going to make her presence known. I'm doing great. Both of my cats are up, especially Sushi, the
Mm-hmm.
infamous Sushi, who is meowing right now. And I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to talk about fall anime and just see what you're excited to watch, talk about what I'm excited to watch. I'm just really happy to be here.
Yeah. So, the fall season, well, we're not supposed to fully dive into it, but I'll just say like it has, of course, some very big heavy hitters that I think are on a lot of people's radars. But
Yes.
I think that there's also some smaller hidden gems that I definitely want to make sure that I highlighted, bring to people's attention because there was one that I kind of watched a little bit before we recorded. Uh,
Hmm.
before we get to that, uh, I'm trying to think where to start. I guess I'll start with myself real quick with my week. Uh, I'm not gonna go too much into it. I'll probably say that for when I do my next solo episode.
uh,
But it has been a roller coaster of a week. In many aspects, there's been some positive, some good news. Like my wife, she got a new job. Um, I got a promotion in my job.
oh, congratulations.
Thank
Congrats
you,
to both of y'all.
thank you. Um, but it's like with my thing, the uh, the benefits from that don't kick in for like another few weeks. So that's like it's like okay, I got in writing, it's happening, but
Hmm.
still gotta wait a few more weeks before I see the fruits bear from that. And then with my wife starting the new job, we've had to do some temporary shift schedule wise around the house because so she does she's the manager of basically kind of like the extended day. That's what it's called, the extended day, like the after school program.
I am so sorry. Do you mind if I just
Yeah,
open the door for my cat? Because that's
yeah,
why she's freaking out.
yeah.
I
You're
am so
cool.
sorry. This is embarrassing. I'm so sorry.
So she's over the after school thing. So that's kind of like a you know midday to like the afternoon schedule, which means that for now I had to shift my work schedule to where I go to work earlier and get off earlier so I can go and pick up Vash from pre-K and
Hmm.
stuff. So like making that shift, it has been like so exhausting, which is why there was no podcast episode last week. uh, just because it was like, it wasn't like, hey, yeah, I get to get off of work earlier and stuff, whatever. It was like, no, it just means my day is now longer, because I'm still going to bed at my normal usual time just because of
Hmm.
what's going on in the house and stuff, whatever. So, but yeah, so it's just like it's going to be a few weeks of
Like
that
adjusting to everything and all
that
that.
just because this temporary shift is just for the moments because in a few weeks we'll be able to get him into the program with her so that after school he'll just be with mommy, you know and then I can kind of go back to my normal thing, but yeah, it's just like good things are happening, but it's like having some tiring repercussions and stuff. Cause even like my oldest daughter, uh, uh, off-season track practices started ramping up, so that's
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday for her. My oldest boy, he got a awesome opportunity to he's about to start working out with probably one of the best AAU basketball teams for sure in the state, if not in the whole country. They recently won
Wow.
I think they recently won a national championship, a few of their groups, whatever, and so they extended a opportunity to him.
It's
But
amazing.
yeah, so he went and did like a little like trial workout with them last weekend and stuff. So and that went good, and so they're like, hey, if he's interested or whatever, but of course he got to work for it, and he's gonna have to work for it, because I told him,
Mhm.
and my wife told him, was like, because they sent us the schedule, and his schedule for that team is Tuesday through Friday, 5 to 7 every day.
Oh, wow.
Workout or whatever. So and like I said, that's just two of the bunch that is going to be incorporated in my middle son. He's wanted to get into like a theater type of class or whatever, which I'm excited
Mhm.
about, because like he did track last year or whatever, and he was good at it, but we think that he's gonna be kind of more into artistic stuff, whatever. And so he brought home a paper last week of like, hey, I want to try this, whatever. And it was like for like
Oh,
an
that's
acting thing.
lovely.
So it was like, okay, sure. Hey, you want to do it? Give you something to give him something to try to find his own way in and stuff. So yeah,
That's cool.
so it's just about to be a very very uh unpredictable schedule, which I guess I'll say real quick for housekeeping for listeners, whatever. Who knows what my schedule's about to be over the next probably month or whatever. So just y'all might see early signs from back when I first started recording, to where I was just like stuff going up on so different days at all times of night or whatever. So y'all probably might see that for a while. It might be some weeks where nothing comes out. But it is what it is. We'll, until things kind of get settled and on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
That's just how things will be. But like, just wanted to give y'all a little heads up of of what might be going on with that stuff. And last little thing I started doing this week too, whatever, which is also kind of like dealt with the with some of the exhaustion or whatever, is that I started donating plasma um,
Oh, wow.
as well. So which I'm only doing for like a few more weeks or whatever. Then I got to take a break.
Mhm. Yeah. My
And
brother
stuff.
used to
So
do that in college. It used to wear him out.
yeah, so the timing of me doing that with this schedule shift or whatever, it was rough last week or whatever. So, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you're able to do it or whatever, it's benefits on both sides. To where it's like, for people out there in the world that need it, it goes to
Mhm.
some good causes or whatever, and it's for like for yourself, whatever, get some money and stuff. So
Yeah.
some extra pocket change and stuff. So, but enough of my little rambling and stuff. So Miss Airy, uh, first of all, I'm because I know at least at this point in the recording, or this
Mhm.
time, or whatever, you're in the Florida zone.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're safe. Glad that
Yeah.
you
I
didn't
was
get taken
scared, I ain't gonna
away.
lie to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I went through a hurricane once. I think I was. This was back when I was in high school, so I was
Mhm.
15. Yeah, because it was 2015. So it was. So for those who might not know or who might not remember, whatever, I'm based in Texas now. I live in the Dallas Fort Worth area now, but
Mhm.
I was born and raised in deep southeast Texas, so like down maybe like a few hours
Oh.
from Houston, like my hometown is like right on like the Texas Louisiana border. Um, and so back in that year or whatever, that's when we had Hurricane Katrina and Rita back to
Oh,
back.
wow.
Yeah, so Hurricane Katrina didn't hit us too hard. That was more so, New Orleans, and we know what that situation was.
Yeah.
But not long after that, we had Hurricane Rita actually hit my hometown, and that was I don't it was just like a very wild situation,
Mhm.
cause I'll never forget. It's like we evacuated to the high school and stuff, whatever. So, because luckily we like, well, for one, my hometown is super small, anyways.
Mhm.
But we lived literally down the street from the high school, so we evacuated to there, whatever. And and I'll never forget. I'm trying to think. No, 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 no. We were at the middle school first. That's right, because I remember we were sitting in the hallways when the hurricane and stuff passed over, and so I'll never forget when we came outside the next morning, whatever, just seeing like the trees, just like the aftermath of
Yeah.
of everything or whatever, and then they got us all on buses, I think, or did we drive? Anyway, then we transferred over to the high school, and I'll never forget. Uh, I was sent out on a scouting mission, so to speak, to
Mhm.
go and see on the to go and check out the state of our house, and stuff, whatever. So because it was like, okay, the storm is past, it's clear, whatever.
Yeah.
Now let's go see what's going on or whatever. So I'll never forget like walking from the high school to my house, and luckily it was still there intact or whatever. There was maybe like some like the like little like side paneling or something, whatever, kind of like
Mhm.
got messed up or whatever. Oh, okay, hey, it's still here, still standing. On like I saw some other places nearby that wasn't so lucky, but yeah, I would never forget that whole situation, whatever, because of course, like the whole town was without power for weeks.
And that's like the worst part is like the outages. Like
Yeah,
I've lived in like Florida for like how old am I? I'm 27. I had to think for a second. I was like, how old am I? I've lived in Florida for about like 15 years.
mm-hmm.
And so we're used to like hurricane season and all that stuff. The thing is though, is like I grew up in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really get hit by hurricanes much in Jax because we're all the way up like
Yeah,
near Georgia, really.
yeah,
So we don't really get hit by them. By the time they get to us, they're usually like at most a cat 1 or
yeah,
something. And we've gotten hit by a few big ones, but I was never there for it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and then when I lived in Miami for a few years, Irma came through, and Irma did some flooding in Miami, but it wasn't really catastrophic, but
yeah.
there was some damages. But I remember my power was out for like 4 days, and it was summer. I think, yeah, it was summer,
Yeah,
Miami, 90 degrees, no
yeah,
AC, no nothing for like 4 days. And I was just like, I was miserable. It was so hot and sweaty. And it just like, you could just, like, if your apartment doesn't have like AC running for a long time and it's in the heat, it starts to smell weird, like mildewy and stuff. I was like, man, I'm ready to go. Like,
yeah,
that was terrible. And I was living with my boyfriend at the time, and his uncle got his power back like I think 2 days before we got our power back.
mm-hmm.
And as soon as his uncle was like, "Hey, we got our power back. Do you want to stay with us for a bit?" I was like, "Let's go,
Yeah,
let's go. I'm done. I'm not. I need AC. I'm not doing this anymore." That's like my least favorite part about like hurricane season is the outages because everything you could lose everything like the
yeah,
water gets shut off. That's why people go to stores and buy 10 cases of water when they really could just fill like bottles of tap water, but I
yeah,
digress.
yeah,
But like yeah, so and we thought this hurricane Ian, it's a cat 4 or it was a cat
mm-hmm.
4, and for days it was projected to hit Tampa like head on.
Yeah.
And also fun fact, Tampa hasn't been hit head on by a hurricane in like literally 100 years.
Oh wow.
And we were all just like, what? So I was preparing an evacuation plan. I was getting like, I'm not in an evacuation zone, but I was still like, listen, if I have to go somewhere, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go. So I went and got like, I felt like I was sometimes I feel like my cats are kids every now and then because like I had to go get all their vaccination records, all their tags, all the stuff so that if I have to go to a hotel or have to go to evacuation zone. Hello there.
Sorry. Yes,
It's all
Vash.
good.
Vash.
Noodles.
Huh?
Noodles.
Noodles?
Noodles?
No noodles
He
right
said he
now,
want
baby.
noodles.
Not right now, baby.
What's your spaghetti?
Spaghetti.
No.
See, getting grilled. You'll get something in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
You can go play, baby. You can close
That's
that
so
door.
cute.
Thank you. Close the door. Okay.
That's all good. Listen, I get it. That was so cute. Like noodles, spaghetti. Like when we
Yeah,
gonna get those?
I'm like, really? Sure.
Listen, he knows what he wants. No,
That's
but
true. Yes.
but yeah, I had like this whole thing planned. I was like, I was getting all my stuff together, and I got my hurricane snacks. I'd never been hit directly by a Category 4 before. Irma was a 5, but we got the outer bands of it.
Yeah.
So I was just not like in the years I've lived here, I've just never been hit head on by a hurricane. So I was kind of nervous, and then and then it ended up turning at the last minute, and unfortunately, it hit Fort Myers, and they got the worst of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up being okay, and so we've been good. We've been getting nice, cool weather since the hurricane passed, which is great. Like 70-degree weather, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
I was actually out on my balcony today editing for my next video. I was out on the balcony just like, oh, it's such a nice breeze. The cats were hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, I wish it was like this every day instead of like 90 degrees like usual.
Yes.
So
yeah, I am excited for the weather to cool down this year because
I won't be experiencing that until I move. But yeah. Florida, I don't know what that is.
Because I've had this very lovely hoodie hanging up next to me for a long time. Some of y'all probably have seen this. This is the Fire Force hoodie
Oh,
I got
nice.
from Uniqlo, and so I am like just been jonesing because of course I had bought it back earlier this year when they had it because it was like a special limited time thing or whatever. And what is it? What does that say? I forgot. It's King of Destruction is what it says on the back. And
that's nice.
I guess I should describe for audio listeners. Yeah, it's got Benny Maru's eyes, and it says Benny on one arm and Asakusa on the other arm, which is where the village they live at or whatever. And so so I am like, come on, cold weather. I am ready to sport this thing. It looks.
Oh, that is nice.
It just looks beautiful.
I have a Chainsaw Man hoodie, and I have a JJK like Gojo like hoodie.
Ooh.
And yeah, but it's like I get maybe a solid 3 days of 60-degree weather like a year in Florida. So like, I barely ever get to wear them. That's why I'm excited to I'm trying to move up north, so I'm excited to when I do experience cold weather, I have those. But
yes,
it's nice.
Thank you. So Eri, let's dive into a couple of things real quick with you. So first of all, me and Eri, we of course met online through Twitter, and I'm trying to think because I always try to remember stuff for it because I'm pretty sure that when I was kind of like first getting into doing content creation stuff, whatever. I honestly don't even remember like how I fully found you the first time, whatever. But I just know that when I found you, I immediately enjoyed your vibe and everything that you did and everything that you did, are doing, and will be doing. And so we immediately connected on that front, and then of course, mutual friend, shout out to Lisa.
Love her.
From the Wonder of Anime. When you went onto her podcast, for one, because you went on there, introduced me to her and all the cool stuff that she was doing. Because I remember, I remember I think I might have came across her thing, or maybe you might have shared that you were on there, something,
Mhm.
whatever. But anyway, it's the connections have been awesome. Is the long story short? I'll say of that. Um, but yeah, for yourself, Ari, introduce yourself as far as like what you do, content wise, and things like that. So yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, so I run a YouTube channel and now a blog called TsundEri. And I say this for all of my stuff because I never know how to like probably describe the content that I do. So it's just I talk about anything and everything having to do with anime. For the YouTube channel, I do like anime and manga reviews. Something I've started doing recently is my cat manga reviews
Yes.
because anybody who knows me, if you talk to me for like longer than 2 seconds, you know I love cats. I'm obsessed with cats. I have two. I want more. So, and I have a bunch of like cat related manga, and I just was like, oh, why not review cat manga? Like I haven't seen anyone do that, so I do that. I also, when I can, I try to do interviews. I've interviewed um, like voice actors, some like really amazing cosplayers and content creators. I do anime reviews and recommendations, and then now with the blog, I do kind of like written components to my videos, but also just like blog exclusive content. Like recently, I did I saw Nope by Jordan Peele, my favorite Jordan Peele movie thus far, my fave, and I wrote a blog called All the Anime and Real Life Headlines that inspired Nope,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a lot of fun to write. And yeah, I just kind of do whatever feels right in the moment when it comes to my anime content.
Yeah.
I do anime, I do playlists, like music playlists based on like anime characters. I just whatever comes to my mind at 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, oh, I'll make content about it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been just a really freeing experience, and like it's I love it. It's the least adult thing that I do, so I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure. And how long have you been creating content, writing, and things of that nature?
So when it comes to tsundere,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so it's kind of funny. So when it comes to tsundere, I've been doing tsundere for about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't really get like really into it until about like maybe a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I had put out my first video. It was anime that inspired Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
But then right after I put out that video, I got a job. I was living in Jacksonville, but I got a job out in Tampa, so I had to move, and that was really expensive. And I was also using the equipment from my job at the time to put out my. I was working at a TV station. I used to be a journalist, so I was like using their equipment for my
Yeah.
videos. So when I left that job, I didn't have access to that equipment, so I had to wait for my my stimulus check to come in so I could buy the stuff that I needed to
Oh
restart
yeah.
it,
Oh
and that
yeah.
took months.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was joking with my mom, with my sister. I was like, I'm waiting for my Biden bucks to come in. So that's why in one of the videos I put in, it was like after my hiatus, it was like, what was it? It was like this episode is brought to you by my stimulus check or something like that. And I put like the "We did it, Joe" in the thing. It was really silly. But so I've been doing it technically for 2 years, but I didn't really get to like dive into it consistently until about a year and a half ago. But in terms of how long I've been making content, and of course my neighbors come in, they're blasting music. I'm so sorry.
It's all
But
good.
I'm so sorry. Can you hear it?
Barely.
Okay, thank God. Okay, okay. I'm so sorry. But so I've been doing tsundere for about 2 years, a year and a
Mm-hmm.
half or so. But in terms of how long I've been doing YouTube and content creation, I realized recently I've been doing it since technically I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it. So when I was about 17, I had started this blog called Stage Dives and High Fives. And it was
I
back when
like
I
that
was
name.
really into like, yeah, it was back when I was like, I used to be like this really like heavy metal punk alternative kid. I still kind of am.
Yeah.
And going to shows and crowd surfing and stuff. So I started this blog to talk to kind of promote unsigned bands from all over, not just from Jacksonville, but
Yeah.
from everywhere. I've interviewed bands that from Europe, from Miami, from Jax, from Italy, like all these different places. And I did that when I was like 16 or 17. And then as a journalist, I had like a YouTube channel or a YouTube series. It was like a network original digital series for First Coast News in Jacksonville.
Okay.
And I would go and I don't know if you've heard of Humans in New York, but it was basically like that for Jacksonville, where I just go and I speak to random people on the street and I get them
Ah,
to tell really intimate stories about themselves. And I got some really cool stuff out of that. And so I've been doing it for a long time, but this is like the first time since I was a teenager that I've been doing it purely for myself and not for a job.
yeah,
Um, and which has been just a really freeing experience. And it's crazy. Like it's wild to me.
yeah,
I like every time I'm on someone's podcast or I meet someone, DreamCon was wild. So like meeting people and being like, oh my God, that's Ari, or hey, TsundEri, this. I'm like, people that I knew that I followed on social media whose content I really enjoyed, finding out that they knew me too was really crazy.
yeah,
And I was just like, I would be like, oh my God, hey, like, yeah, my name is Ari. Like I follow you on social. I really love like your videos or your podcasts, the stuff you do, like you're really cool. And then be like, oh my God, you're Ari. I love your videos. I saw your catmonger review. I showed it to my friend. I'm like,
yeah,
what? Excuse. So it's been a really fun journey to just do this for myself and get to meet so many different
hmm,
people and have all these cool experiences. And it's crazy to me. Like it's still like I can't wrap my mind around it. So I
yeah.
know I went on the tangent, but that's just been
Oh
like
no,
it's been amazing.
no, you're fine. Yeah, yeah. I've talked about that a lot too with like you said, especially with DreamCon and just being like, wait, of course I know you, but wait, you know me? So
Yeah, you never know who's looking at your stuff.
exactly, and cause I do still every now and then kind of like uh think back on when me and you were chatting whatever, and we were just like going back and forth giving each other our flowers and stuff.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
one of my favorite moments.
though I was like I was though we kept on having like people kind of coming up and trying to talk to us. I'm like, go away. Me and Ari are trying to give each other our flowers, and you're interrupting the moment. Hi, I love you, but me and Ari
But
trying to
it
have
was
a
still
moment.
cool
Oh
though. It
yeah,
was
oh
still
yeah,
cool though because I was like, oh my God, like this is like I'm. It's just I was telling my friends, I was like, I had always, so I've been an anime fan since I was like 3 years old, like the first time I watched like Sailor Moon.
hmm,
And, I knew it's like I knew obviously that there were other black anime fans. I knew that like I wasn't the only one, obviously. But what I never knew until recently, like doing YouTube and stuff, was like the online community aspect of it.
yeah,
So it's like I knew there's a bunch of us, but I had no idea that there was like a whole sushi. Can we not? I had no idea that there was a whole entire like, anime community and that I would be meeting people through this. I thought that when I started my channel, it was going to be a very insulated thing. That I'm so sorry, this cat is going crazy. I thought it was going to be like a very insulated thing
hmm,
that it's just something that I do from my home and
hmm,
no one's going to really watch it or see it. And then fast forward to like, not only do people watch it, but I've made like legit friends through this. And
yeah,
I've had some amazing experiences that I never thought I would have. And it's just crazy. Like, like, there are times when I'm putting together a video and I just think like, am I really doing this? Like, that's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Like, that's wild to me. Like, I have 500 people like on my YouTube channel. That's
yeah.
crazy. Where did y'all come from? So
Yeah, that yeah, moments like that has yeah, it is just always wild. Even when sometimes when I get like a comment or something or whatever being like or like I might post a picture being like, hey, I just picked up whatever manga or whatever, and then somebody being like, wow, I can't wait to hear your review or hear what you think of it or whatever and stuff. So yeah.
I've been, I've been trying to distract her. Sushi. And we do. She has food. Her litter box is done. The back patio door is
Oh, she's
open.
she's got
She has
beef. She's
she has
going after
nothing.
Pochita.
She has nothing to stress about, and she just wants to act up. Like there's nothing wrong. She has everything she could possibly want. She lives a nicer life than I do, and she's just wants to complain. Hopefully, go catch. Go, yeah. If I throw her toy, hopefully she'll get distracted. I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
I
But
always say she's gonna make an appearance in anything that I do.
but yeah, it's like it's just always just like so humbling and sometimes like weird. Sometimes when somebody's like, "Hey, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on such and such series or whatever," or "Hey, I picked up this thing or I watched this show because I heard
Doesn't
you
that make you
talk
feel
about it."
good?
Yeah. Especially with like hidden gems and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because of course it's like of course, hey, there's a million people talking about My Hero and Jujutsu
Yeah.
Kaisen or whatever, but when it's like, wait, somebody else is talking about Blue Period, somebody else
Oh,
got it to, some other thing that I see hardly anybody talk about or whatever, and it's like, yes, there's one more person added to the fold.
yeah. It's I one of someone that like I ended up meeting her later at DreamCon, but like I remember someone had DM'd me and was like, "Hey, I picked up like," or I don't know if they had DM'd me or they had tagged me. They were like, "Yo, I picked up Sweat and Soap because of you," and I was like, first of all, you're in for a treat. Second of all,
Yeah.
I am flattered. Like
Yes.
it feels good. It's nice to it's just nice to connect with people about these things. It's nice to not just put other people on to like whatever you're reading, but also to get introduced to stuff by other people. Let me tell you, you are the reason that I am frequenting Barnes and Noble and that like or Amazon or all these different places and like and you're part of the reason why my spending has gotten out of control because you keep retweeting or talking about, oh, this just came out, or you'll tag me in something cat related, which I really appreciate, and I'm like, no, I got bills to pay. I can't keep doing this. I'm gonna go to Barnes and Noble. Like every time, it's nice to like. I've introduced some people to different series, but I've also been introduced to new series.
Hmm.
She's playing with a plastic bag, but like it's just so fun to connect with people that way. I hope the noise isn't distracting. I'm so sorry.
I can't hear the bag.
Okay. I feel so bad that I keep stopping like, I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Okay.
you
But it's
fine.
just,
You fine.
yeah.
Whatever you need to do. Whatever you need to do. But
She's just going to be loud, so I've accepted it.
it's all good. But yeah. It having those moments and stuff has been super awesome cause that's why every now and then I'll just kind of do like a random Twitter search or whatever of a
Hmm.
series, especially if I know it's under the radar series or whatever. I'll just search through Twitter or whatever, and I love finding people that have tweeted out into the void basically because like it might be a smaller account and they're just happy to talk about their thoughts on a chapter or a manga or whatever, and even if it's months, sometimes years ago, I'll still like it and just a little comment like,
Yeah.
hey, I love that too or whatever. And sometimes that leads to a further connection because sometimes those people respond back and be like, oh my god, yes, finally, yeah, somebody else to talk about this thing with or whatever. and and,
Yes.
and you make that connection with that person, and plus it's just because I know I've been on the receiving end of that or whatever, I also know how sometimes important it is to where if you have like a smaller account and you tweet out something that you enjoyed but you get nobody likes or whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't mind being that one person to where it's like, hey, I also enjoyed this, so that you also know that you're not alone, because while yes, of course there's somebody else on the world on the internet that of course likes this thing, but depending on who the person is and where they might have grown up, where they live or whatever, they might not necessarily know, oh, okay, there are other people out there.
Exactly.
They might legit think I'm the only person.
Exactly. And honestly, that's like the best part about doing this like content creation, whether it's like podcast or YouTube or whatever, like that's the best part is just connecting with other people and kind
Hmm.
of learning like, oh, I'm not the only person who watched this thing. I like whenever I'm on the other day I tweeted, oops, that was my ring light. The other day I had tweeted a screenshot from I had tweeted something about this anime that came out years ago, Karakano, His and Her Circumstances.
Hmm.
And I was a kid when it's like a shojo. romantic shoujo, enemies to lovers, my favorite trope kind of thing. And it came out when I was a kid, but I never really heard anyone talk about it. And then the other day I had tweeted about it, and some people were like, "Oh my god, this is my show! I remember that!
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was crazy!" And it's like, you guys like know about it too. I'm not crazy. It's not just me. So it's fun. That's just the best part about all of this. It's just connecting and learning like, oh, okay, I'm not the only person that saw this, or it's not just me out here in the void. So I think it's really great that you go and you make a point to interact with people and let them know like, hey, that was cool, or I've seen that too, or you're not the only person who enjoys this. So
Yeah, for sure. Cause I feel like I kind of fell into that position within the community, unintentionally or whatever. It was just a thing because I'll forever shout the joys of one of my first hidden gems I ever found on my podcast, Karate Survivor. Because I'll never forget when I had came across that last year, and it was just me being me. I was at Barnes and Nobles, just browsing around and stuff, whatever. And then like the spine of it caught my attention, and the name. I'm like, Karate Survivor, what is this? And I read it, I enjoyed it, and I recorded on it, whatever. And it was just one of those weird things to where it's like, and I talk about it every blue moon or whatever, so people might be tired of hearing me saying this with it, but it's just like it was just weird when I like searched on YouTube, and there was maybe like barely a handful of other people in the world that has talked about this series. And so I'm like, maybe there is an opportunity for like that corner of the community or whatever. And so I've continued to do that. There's been plenty of other series that I have talked about and stuff or whatever, to where it's like if you search on YouTube Karate Survivor or whatever, and it's like Robert's one of the only few people that pop up or whatever. And so
it's like me with the Walking Cat.
yes
The Walking Cat manga. Like I think I saw like I was looking to see if other people had talked about it, and I saw like I think maybe one other video about it, and it wasn't even really about the manga. It was just about just the existence of cats in anime and manga in general. So it wasn't even really about that. So yeah.
And like and stuff like that, it's just kind of like a reminder of like, yes, there's a million people in the world that are doing content and reviews and stuff whatever, but there is literally room for everybody, because like we both have just said, the fact that we've only been doing this for like a couple of years roughly, and some people that's been doing this for 10 plus years or whatever, but it's like, oh, nobody has talked about this one series or whatever. And so it's like that has been like a little niche for myself, whatever, to where I just continue to just be myself and just be like, okay, this thing looks interesting or whatever, this looks cool. And sometimes when I'm in the store, I'll search on my phone like, what's the conversation about this? I'll search on Twitter, YouTube, whatever, and it's like nothing or barely anything, whatever. Or it might be a thing to where it's like you come across a video, but it's nobody in English. It's somebody in Europe or some other country, and it's like, okay, all right, well, I was gonna get this anyways. Well, hey, it's just a double opportunity. It's like, okay, if I get it and I end up enjoying it, well then, hey. So
and it's like you might find people, even with series that are more well known too, like you might find like a million people talking about the certain series. But I always tell people, we're all very unique in our own way. You might find 50 million people talking about something, but you're the only person who can talk about it in your way. Like I did a video about a year ago on a Yu Yu Hakusho, and that's my number one favorite anime of all time. And that's an anime that's been out for decades. Like, so there's tons and tons and tons and tons of YouTube videos about Yu Yu Hakusho from every possible angle, but none of them took my approach, which is when I made the playlist, like music the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho would listen to in real life. And I broke down the different music references in the show and the manga. I had like these Spotify playlists people could listen to. I did all this like stuff. And, I talked about an anime that's been talked about for 20, 30 years now. And I talked about it in a way that no one else has done. I talked about it in a way that no one in the decades that had been out had talked about it before. So
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, I've heard some people talk about like, oh, I want to get into content creation, or I have this video in mind, or I want to do this thing,
Mm-hmm.
but what if it's been done before, or what if no one cares, or this or that? And it's like, listen, you're the only one who's going to do it the way that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
so it's like, if you have an idea and you really want to do it and it feels right, like, go for it. Like, there might be 50 million people talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, but you're the only one that's going to talk about it in the way that you're going to talk about it, in your own voice, from your own perspective, you know?
Exactly. Cause I feel the same way too with certain things where I'm like, there are certain series, that might involve, a parent and child, or even just like a parent and child relationship or whatever. Well, I can give my perspective on it or whatever because I'm a dad. And so
Yeah.
it's like yeah, it's a bunch of people talking about, Kotaro lives alone, or Yakuza's got the babysitting or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I have another perspective because Kotaro is 4, just like my son Vash is, and so it's like I can have that perspective of like, man, I cannot picture my son living that life that child was living.
Oh, that poor kid.
And
Ah,
so
poor
yeah,
kid.
so stuff like that is like, it's like, okay, that is another unique thing that only I can bring to the table,
Exactly.
and stuff like that. So yeah, so listeners, watchers, a note from Rob and Ari, do it.
Yeah, it's, and
Oh,
the best. That's all
so
good.
we had a slight Vash appearance, whatever. So I always enjoy trying to get, when possible, trying to get these stories on recording. So one day when he's older, I can, like, this is the time you did. But no, so yeah, so he came in saying something about a controller, and I'm like, what? And then one of my daughters was like, she came in nothing even related to control. She was like, I think he's trying to get one of those ice cream sandwiches. I was like, are you wanting an ice cream? And he was like, okay. So I'm like, whatever controller thing might have been happening, whatever, it is now distracted by ice cream.
Do your I have a question. Do you, like, your older kids sometimes like translate what the youngest is saying to you? Sometimes?
Sometimes, but like in that situation, it it really, I think it really was something going on with the controller or
Oh,
something,
okay.
whatever. But I think it's just coincidence that he also maybe right before that was trying to get
Want
an
some ice
ice
cream.
cream, and so yeah,
The
it's
reason
yeah.
the reason I ask is because when I was a kid, so my brother and I were like a year and a half apart.
Mm-hmm.
And when my brother was really young and he was just learning how to like kind of form words, like
Yeah,
barely, I was his translator.
yeah.
So like it just kind of happened. Like my brother would say something to my parents like, and my mom would be like, "What are you talking about?" And I would be like, "He wants a balloon." And like every time. And then one time, this is just a really funny story. One time, like, it always cracks me up. One time we were at like, I guess we were at like a theme park. I vaguely remember this, but my parents would have to fill in the blanks for me because I was really young. But
Yeah.
I remember we were at a theme park. I was just a very like, when I was a kid, I just had an attitude. If you yelled at me, if I didn't like how something went down, I was like, I'm gonna catch an attitude the rest of the day. I don't care. I don't care if you spank me or whatever. I'm gonna have an attitude. I don't care. I'm mad at everybody. So I got in trouble for something, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make this insufferable. I'm gonna make this day insufferable for everybody. I was like, I'm not talking to nobody. And my brother was in his little stroller, and he kept like crying, I guess, and he
Mm-hmm.
kept making noises like and just kept crying. And my mom was like, Erica, what is he saying? And I guess I was just like, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know. I knew what he was saying, but I was like, I don't know. And my mom was like, what is he saying? And I was like, I don't know. I don't understand him. And my mom was like, and then she did the whole like, what is he saying? And I was like, oh, I'm about to get in trouble. I was like, he wants a balloon. And I was just like, I had such an attitude about it. And they're like, was that so hard? And I was like, I didn't want to tell y'all because I was mad at you. But I used to have to be his translator as a kid. Like, he'd be like, and I'd be like, he wants food. He wants to eat.
Yeah.
He wants to go outside. Like,
Yes. Yeah,
So funny.
we have some of those moments sometimes too. So which I'm a lot of days glad for the age gap between them because I can do stuff like this and not worry
Yeah.
so much, that the house will be destroyed or something else crazy going on or whatever. What, Vash? Vash.
As we want, as we get it.
What?
If you want, as we want, as we get it.
Hold on.
It's
I'm
all good.
having to decipher this one. I promise he is trying to break a record today. Like he is that is probably the most interruptions or appearances within a short time that I can recall. So he trying to go for a personal best.
That's so funny. But I also love how it's like I think he knows that he's supposed to like wait for you to be done. He's like, no, I gotta tell him right now.
Yes,
That's sweet.
that's my mini me. Uh, but yeah, so I'm trying to think. Shoot, I don't know, what were we talking about? Because you were in the middle of something a while ago. Because we were talking
I can't
about
remember.
going out doing content.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was just saying, tell me like, just do it.
yeah. So we'll stop. We'll wrap that part up with that. It's like just hey, if you have hopes and dreams of creating content or whatever, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
You'll find your audience, you'll find your people, and yeah. So uh, so I guess what do you say? You ready to dive into some of these fall anime?
Yes.
All
I
right.
got the list on my phone.
So let me pause real quick while I make this transition. All right. So you know, had a little family thing happen, but as I was just about to tell Ari, it's like it feels like I've always been pretty attentive on stuff whatever, but it feels like since I've become a parent, like my senses have heightened. So like any rattle or whatever I hear, I'm like, cause like my daughter came in just to get some like extra tissue and soap and stuff whatever for they about to bath and stuff whatever, and I heard like some like rattling. I'm like, who out there? What's going on? And stuff. So it's like so I'll be, which is one reason why I really can't like fully rest. Like if I know like they're all outside, especially if Vash is outside playing or whatever,
Hmm.
it's tough just because I'm like, okay, just being hyper aware. What's going on? Is he okay? Da 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 da. So, but because I was telling my wife I'm gonna have to I'm planning a little getaway to one of my friends' houses sometime this month because I'm like I can't really fully
I
rest
get it.
like I need to sometimes just because even though like I can be a heavy sleeper from time to time, but for the most part I'm not just because hearing stuff middle of the night or whatever, like okay, what's going on, kids okay, and stuff whatever. And so like shout out to my friend Brian, my friends Brian and Aaron, because earlier this year when I had to take a break and I went to go stay at their house, best sleep I had gotten in months.
It's
Cause yeah,
I was gonna say it's so funny because I always tell my friends like I don't know for sure like if I plan on having kids in the future, but I always tell my friends like I definitely plan on being like the kid assistant where it's like if you know you need somebody to pick your kid up from school because you're really busy doing a meeting or something or other, I'll pick them up. Kids are working your nerves, you're not getting sleep, you're tired, send them over to my place. I got cats. I plan on having a whole zoo at my home when I finally have that kind of income. I plan on having a big house with like 3 cats, a dog, maybe some birds. Like I'll be like, listen, I got a whole petting zoo here. Just send them here for the weekend. We'll watch movies, we'll go out, we'll play with the animals, just whatever. And y'all get some sleep. Like I always picture myself being like because it takes a village. So I always picture myself being like the village, where it's like, yeah, you can come hang, like, send the kids over here. We'll go out. Oh, you need someone to pick them up? Go pick them up. You need somebody to record their recital? I'll be right there with the camera. It's all good. Like, I always like the idea of doing that because it's hard. My parents have like 3 kids, and my brother and I were very close in age, so we experienced a lot of like the same milestones and stuff around the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like whatever money that you had to spend on like one kid, you had to spend it twice. Like,
Yeah.
and it was just a time and money and effort, and my mom did the majority of it on her own. So it was like, yeah, like, people need help, man. So I think it's cool that your
Yeah.
friends are like, yeah, you can come over here and get some sleep, maybe get some work done too. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's something to where I was like, because it's like I mentioned at the top of the show, like the changes and stuff that's happened recently, whatever. It just like because it was 2 separate occasions this past week or whatever, where I had like a small one or something. Like, okay, I can maybe get like a quick little power nap or whatever, and I was sleeping so good, so good. And then somebody was like, "Hey, da 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 da, hey," da, da, da. I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to make my grand escape. And so so I'm like, hey, friend, when y'all busy on this weekend? Cause that Robert's escape coming soon.
I think that's really cool that your friends do that. Like, I think everybody needs that sometimes, for sure.
Yes, for sure. So, before we dive into the fall anime stuff, Ari had mentioned a show that I've talked about before that I love and adore, and I'm glad you did, because I had it on my mental notes of like, oh, I'm gonna make sure to talk about that, because I know Ari also watches it, but then I
I'm
forgot.
obsessed.
But that is Abbott Elementary. That show is so good.
I'm obsessed.
I had watched the new episode earlier today when I got back home from doing some morning errands and stuff, whatever, and I was like, yes, this is the piece that I need to get me back right. Like, I don't know, it like back, well, when the first season came out or whatever, my work schedule was as such to where I could watch it before I went to work, and it was always like a nice peaceful way to start my day. I'm like, okay, I'm getting up, eating breakfast while watching Abbott Elementary, whatever. I'm laughing, I'm crying, my heart is warmed. All right, now let's get this day started, or whatever. And so it's just like these 2 episodes so far have just been. It's like yes,
Amazing.
yes.
I love that show because I was talking to one of my friends about how I feel like TV, and not just anime, but everything has been so heavy lately. It's just everything's just been very dark and heavy, and there's this whole trend of taking like shows that were at one point kind of light and airy and like rebooting them to be more dark and edgy. Which it's no knock to that. Sometimes it is interesting, but it's just things have just been feeling so heavy, not just with TV, but just like life in general, everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
So watching Abbott Elementary and seeing these adorable kids like be kids, because they're just being children. It's not even like, oh, they're child actors. Like, no, they're just being kids on camera. And it's like it's a show that definitely tackles important topics about how teachers are underpaid, and how schools, especially schools with like that especially schools in like majority like Black neighborhoods and majority Black districts, are underfunded. But they do it in a way that's still very lighthearted and heartwarming, and there's this escapism to it, and it's a breath of fresh air, because sometimes, I love my edgy stories. I've been talking about Cyberpunk Edge Runners and how that ripped my heart out. But sometimes, like, you just want something that just some good feel good sitcom TV, and I feel like it's really bring that back. Like, it's really just bringing back just fun feel good TV that you can kind of just shut your mind off and just enjoy the characters. Like, Gregory is my favorite. I love him. He is so him and Melissa. Those 2 are my faves. They're so hilarious to me.
Yes. Cause speaking of Gregory, I'm glad that you had shared that clip the other day about his interview about
Yes.
Quintina, like taking on some
Quinta.
Quinta. Sorry, yeah, Quinta,
Yeah.
taking some of their side conversations and incorporating into the show, and then they played the clip of what he had talked about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like that's funny. I love that.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was so funny because I remember that scene because it was like the first episode of the second season. And he's
Yeah,
like, "I have a plan for in case anything goes wrong." And he says, "Yeah, that's from when we were talking about the Emmys and if we're gonna win or not." And I said, "Well, I have a contingency plan for every situation." And then
yes,
he said like 2 days later it was in the script, and I love that. I love it. And then I found out that the kids on the show, so they have actual teachers that are, on set to like, teach the kids because they're supposed to be in school.
yeah,
Um, and when you watch the show and it's like the classroom scenes where the students are doing like just worksheets and stuff in the background, they're doing their actual homework. They're
oh,
they're
that's cool.
working. They just happen to have them in the background doing it because it makes it look more like a school setting. But they're
Yeah,
just being kids doing their actual homework, and
oh, that's
while
cool.
they're filming. And I just think I love how I always get concerned with how child actors are treated on set and stuff because it's a
Yeah,
job and you're young doing an actual like jobby job.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you know I find out that the students on the show, the kids on the show, are just acting like kids and they just happen to be filming them act like children. And you have some that have deliberate lines, but for the
yeah.
most part they're just kids being kids, and it's just a very fun environment for them. And I think it's just a wonderful show. I want like 50 million seasons, okay? I want to see Janine get tenure. I want to see what's the teacher played by Cheryl Lee Ralph. What's her name? Um
Oh,
I forgot her name.
yeah,
I want her to like I want them to like have like a retirement episode 20 years from now. I want to see
yes.
Melissa and her situation, and they introduced her sister in the latest episode. I want to see how that goes. I want to see everything. I want to see like these characters grow for like 10, 20 years. I can't get enough, and I want a movie.
That the Melissa sister situation or whatever was so funny just because of the way of like just because like how her personality actually is. It was just like, oh, like they said, like, oh, her doppelganger or whatever. And then like later in the episode when they're like, when she's like, no, that's my sister. I'm like, wait, that's your sister? And she was like, yep.
What's
And we're not
funny
gonna say nothing else.
What's funny is that in the first season, she had mentioned that she had a falling out with her sister and that she can't stand her. In the very first season, I can't remember what it was,
Hmm.
but I can't remember what it was, but I remember she had said something about how her and her sister had a huge falling out and she never wants to talk to her again. It was like a throwaway joke line kind of
Yeah,
thing. It's just basically about how like Melissa is so dysfunctional and all that. And then I guess they really decided to dive into it this season by bringing her actual like having the sister there. So I'm excited to see where that goes. Like what happened between y'all.
for
It was
real.
it's a beautiful show. I can't, and I love that it's created and directed and all that stuff by Quinta, because I've been watching her since I first got introduced to her when she was doing the on Vine. She's like, he got money, like that kind of
Okay.
thing that she was doing.
Yeah.
So she had this thing on Vine where like it was like the girl who's never been taken out on a nice date. So every time the guy did something, she was like, oh my god, like they went to the movies. He's like, I'll get a large popcorn, a large. He got money. Like she was going crazy. And then when she was on BuzzFeed for years,
Hmm.
and a lot of her BuzzFeed colleagues, I'm a huge like I jump into rabbit holes. So she was like, a lot of her colleagues from BuzzFeed, they make a few cameos on the show. The teacher that got kicked in the first episode, or she kicked a student in the first episode, she's
Yeah.
from BuzzFeed.
Uh,
Some of the dudes from BuzzFeed write for the show now, and just seeing how she's grown and the amazing things that she's done from Vine to stand-up comedy to BuzzFeed to now like having like her like a network show. Like
yeah.
it's so I love seeing artists just progress. Like it's just cool to see where they've been. It's like when I used to listen to like a lot of my punk bands as a kid. Like I would see a band that I paid $5 to see you, and it was like 10
Yeah.
of us at this show. And now you're on late night with Conan O'Brien. That's crazy. I got to see you grow. So it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, cause you mentioned like basically like just watching different people go through their journeys and stuff. There was actually I'm scrolling through trying to see if I can find it. But there was like a series of. Okay, yeah. So it was a couple of like interview style things. One is the THR roundtables, and then the let me open it up, and then a actors on actors to where it was like a pairing of two different actors, just
I
having a
love those.
conversation, and there was one with her and I can't remember the guy's name, but anywho, it was just cool just getting to learn more about her and different things like that because Abbott Elementary is my first introduction to her, and stuff. So it's just been very awesome getting a chance to just watch the show and just see her work and her get celebrated and stuff. And actually, what is? Cause see, now you got me trying to remember the the older teacher, Miss Barbara.
Oh, that's her name. I think her name is Miss Barbara, but she's played by Shirley Ralph, I believe.
Yes. So
I love Shirley Ralph, by the way. I'm a Shirley Ralph stan.
So, well, first of all, so one thing I found out a couple of weeks ago is that I did not know that she voiced the I can't remember the dog's name, but basically the female dog in Oliver and Company back in the day. Yeah.
Really? Which one was it? Was it Georgette? No,
the one that's part of the crew.
Oh my gosh! I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I loved Oliver and Company. That's one of my favorite movies. It has cats, so of course it's one of my faves.
So, so I found that out when I was doing the stuff when she got her Emmy a couple weeks ago, or whatever, and like I watched that speech of hers so many times, just like when she from the surprise of when they announced that she won to her getting up on stage and just singing.
That was beautiful. She needs an award just for that.
Yes. And then of course like the words of encouragement and stuff that she gave afterwards, it was just like, this is awesome, this is beautiful, this is what this stuff is all about, and stuff. So but yeah, I've just loved this show so freaking much.
It's a beautiful show, and I think it came out. I think one of the reasons too why people why we love it so much too is that it came out at just at the right time, because again, the world is crazy. The world is crazy. So many things going on. We're just at a time where it just seems stressed out, and for a show like this to come out where it's just this very lighthearted story about these teachers coming together and just doing the best they can for their students and being funny and lighthearted about it. And it really provides like a sense of escapism. And I usually watch it on Hulu the day after it comes out, the morning after it comes out. And I get so excited because I work from home. So I'll load up my laptop and all that stuff, get ready to work, and then I'll put on the TV and I'll eat breakfast and just watch Abbott real quick before I start writing. And it's always a great start to the day. So I'm telling you, I want 1 million seasons of this. Okay. I'm in, how they had I think it was 10 seasons of The Office. I want all of that. I want 10, 15, 20 seasons of Abbott Elementary. I want to see these kids grow up and graduate. I'm ready to go.
Yes.
I'm in it for the long haul.
Yeah. I was so happy. I was so surprised and happy that the new season came out within the same year, because I'm thinking maybe at best sometime next year, but then
we're getting 25 episodes, I think.
Ooh, that'd be so awesome. That'd be so awesome.
Yeah, we're getting 20 something episodes. I'm like, oh, let's go.
But when they had announced hey, it's coming back September, I was like, wait, September of now September. And so it was it's just been so awesome, so good, and like you, I look forward to many more. And honestly, best case for me, I would love if they were able to stick to maybe the 2 a year, hey, the spring time or whatever, and then the fall back to school thing. That would be super dope if they could keep that rhythm going. Hopefully.
Yeah, I love it. I recommend that show to everybody. I'm always asking, have you seen Abbott Elementary?
Yeah.
Have you seen it? Like it's my show. That is my show.
Yes.
That and this other show called Reservation Dogs. Like those are like my two like
I've
non-anime shows.
I've heard of that one. I haven't seen the
Can I
reservation.
do like a Reservation Dogs plug?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Because
I'm trying to I'm trying to push the Reservation Dogs agenda. So let me tell the people what it is. So Reservation Dogs is this Hulu original show. I believe it's produced by Taika Waititi, who a lot of people know did the Thor Love and Thunder and the
mm-hmm,
Thor Ragnarok films. He
mm-hmm,
directed both of those. And it's about this group of like indigenous kids. They're teenagers and they live on this reservation in, I believe, Oklahoma,
mm-hmm.
and it's about them, and they're all like real life indigenous kids too. Like they're all like, and they all in real life they do live in like they're from different reservations, so they really wanted to make this authentic. The actress, one of the lead actors, like they wanted reservation kids, they got reservation kids. And
Yeah,
it just shows how they want to leave the reservation and kind of start a new life, but also there's this conflict where it's like, their community is there.
mm-hmm,
Like, there's a due to many different things, the history of this country, a lot of
yeah,
indigenous groups are pushed to very specific regions,
yeah,
and them wanting to leave and kind of do their own thing. It's like they also really love their community, so they're kind of like torn. Like, do we want to leave and go to California or whatever, or do we want to stay here with our family, with our community? And it's a beautiful show that I know a lot of indigenous people really relate to and appreciate, but also like me, just being like a person of color and kind of as I get older, understanding more and more how important community and family is,
yeah.
seeing how they talk how they talk about that in their show. It's I love it. I love it. I've cried on certain episodes. I've cracked up on certain episodes. It's it's lovely. So I always tell people like, watch Reservation Dogs on Hulu. It's good. It's good.
Well,
And the soundtrack is bomb. They always have good music.
you have definitely sold me on it because I've pulled up the Twitter page or whatever. I was scrolling through whatever, looking at it, whatever, and I'm adding it to my Hulu key right now. So I would definitely be checking that out. So thank you for the recommendation.
Oh yeah, it's an
Cool.
excellent show.
Ooh, and there's 2 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, they're on season 2 right now. I think season 2 has like 1 or 2 episodes before it wraps up. But yeah, I've been pushing that
Awesome.
agenda.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will definitely be checking out that. So, okay, Reservation Dogs. Yeah, because like I said, like
Mhm.
I've heard that name here and there, but I just never like looked any further into it. But you have now. I will be doing that. So, cool, cool. Alrighty. So now you ready to dive into
Absolutely. I have it on
some
my phone.
some fall anime. So fall season is upon us.
Mhm.
We're recording this on October 1st, so a few things have already came out. Um, now I'm a kind of nah, I won't do that. But we'll just kind of just talk through and just point out some stuff that we're both looking forward to,
Mhm.
and things like that. So I guess I'll let you kick us off, Ari. What is a couple of things that have that caught your attention that you're looking forward to?
All right, so my number one that I've really been looking forward to is, and I know everyone's been talking about it, is Chainsaw Man. Because, so backstory, I read the manga when I was still working at this TV station in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually the first, so like I watched a lot of anime and I used to read a lot of manga when I was younger, but it's just at some point as I got older, I just wasn't reading it as much.
Yeah.
That was the first manga that I had read in a really long time that I was just full on like invested in. I was waiting for every chapter to drop on the Shonen Jump app. I was like, when is it uploading? Is it
Yeah.
uploading? And it would be like, okay, it's going to be uploaded in 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'll be at
Yeah.
work reading this on my phone on a slow news day. If there's nothing going on, I would have it pulled up on my computer, just like reading it. Like, I don't like, they ain't gonna fire me. Okay, there's nothing happening. I'm gonna watch this. And I'm even now the chapters that are ongoing, every day I'm like, when's it gonna come out? When's it gonna come out?
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for it, because if you haven't read the manga, there's nothing that can prepare you for what you're about to see in this anime. There's nothing that can prepare you. I remember when I got into it because I kept seeing people talk about it. Well, how did I get into it? I just kept seeing it everywhere, but it seemed silly to me, because I was like, oh, a guy with like a chainsaw coming out of his head? That seems silly. Like, because sometimes anime get a little silly sometimes.
Yep.
We had that one where it was like No Gun Slide with the guy that had a gun for a head.
Ooh,
I was like, which is a good show.
Yes.
But I was like, this just seems silly. I don't know if I'm gonna get into it, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I just kept seeing it everywhere. And then one day I saw like a panel that had Power in it.
Oh.
And Power gives me like, at the time, she gives me like, oh, you have the manga for No Guns Life? Yes, taste. Yes. But I thought No Guns Life was going to be silly too. And then that's why I had avoided it for a while. Then I actually watched and I was like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
But I'm about to get into you remind me to get into the manga too. But but one day I was like scrolling on social media, I think it was on Twitter or something, and I saw someone had posted like the artwork from the manga of Power from Chainsaw Man. And Power gives me like, at the time, she gave me like Marceline vibes from Adventure Time. And I love Marceline. And I was like, okay, let me see what this is about. I'm going to read this just for this girl. I'm going to read this just for her. And then I started getting into it. And every chapter, I was like, what in the world am I reading? What is happening here? Because it's a very fast-paced story, so it just goes and goes and gets more outrageous with every chapter. And then Power is my girl. Like, spoiler, she loves cats. So when she was going through all this stuff to get her cat, I was like, yeah, I'm a woman after my own heart. So, but it's like it's like you can't prepare for it. Like, so I'm excited for that, because I want to see people who have never read the manga. I want to see like their reactions to seeing things animated, because I really want to see the live reactions. I feel like people are gonna like the timeline, Twitter, TikTok, all that. People are gonna be going nuts over this because they're not ready. That's why I'm really excited. I'm more excited just to see how people react to it.
Yep. Same here. Yeah. Chainsaw Man is also one that I'm definitely looking forward to as well. And I guess just in case if somebody's listening that has no clue, like what is Chainsaw Man? A little bit of synopsis on it. So main character is Denji, a teenage boy living with a chainsaw devil named Pochita, which those of y'all watching the video, the orange character up all behind Eri.
I'm trying to point at it.
And so due to the debt his father left behind, he has been living a rock bottom life trying to repay the debt. And basically things happen from there, and he ends up becoming a chainsaw devil. And it's just insanity from there. So I'll just kind of keep it vague with that. But Chainsaw Man is gonna be and it, especially because so right now it's listed for 12 episodes so far. Going to be coming,
and they're doing a different ending theme for every episode.
Yes, which that's gonna be fire to see that difference every week.
And I've never seen an anime do something like that. Like, we've seen anime change like themes and stuff after an arc or something, but never after every single episode. That's gonna be insane. The budget, I could tell, behind this is gonna be off the charts. So that's like the big one that I'm like, and then there's Spy Family and My Hero that I'm excited for, and To Your Eternity. But there's like some other smaller ones, but that's like the big one that I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Yes. So real quick, so we'll kind of knock out a couple of those that you just mentioned real quick. So actually both Spy Family and My Hero both returned this morning.
Today?
Yes. Did you get to check out either one of them yet?
I didn't get a chance to check out the newest episodes. Usually I usually what I do is like they're usually on like a Sunday
Yeah.
when I'm not doing much. That's when I start kind of like
Yeah.
watching all the stuff. So
Yeah.
tomorrow I'm gonna be watching Spy Family and My Hero. And then, this is when it gets chaotic for me. As like as the fall anime start coming out, my Sundays start getting stacked because I just do this thing where I dedicate a particular day to just watch everything. And next, I have like 9 anime to watch in a day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna get chaotic this this season for me.
Yes, for sure. So I'll just mention really quickly. So the Spy Family, the new episode of that, super awesome. It just came back with, of course, another banger episode, and they it felt like they gave them even more budget for cause like the look and the style for both the new intro and the new opening and ending or whatever, both beautiful, both look so good. But yeah, and just the episode itself was very awesome. So I'm glad to have Spy Family back in the rotation, because that'll be another wholesome watch.
Yeah, for sure.
for the season, which I'll ask you real quick, the Spy Family or whatever. Are you anime only on that, or have you also been reading it?
I'm like a mixture. So I've in the manga, I'm slightly ahead of where the anime is, but I'm not caught up on the manga.
Gotcha.
So it's like a mixture of both. Typically, and it's funny because typically I don't do that. Typically, like when it comes to manga, I prefer to read series that I'm not currently watching. And when it comes to anime, I prefer to watch series I'm not currently reading.
Yeah.
Unless it's something massive like Chainsaw Man, where I really just want to see the chaos. I just want to see how that goes down. But yeah, so I'm reading and watching it, but I'm slightly ahead of the anime and the manga, but I'm like, not caught up on the manga as a whole. So I love the story. I didn't think it was. I love getting surprised. I didn't think it was a story that I was going to really like all that much. Yeah. Shout out to GB from Anime After Dark. He's the reason I picked up Spy Family.
Yeah.
And it's been a surprisingly good read. I actually wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, like you being a parent. Like how do you are there certain scenes from the anime or the manga that you really relate to as a parent, especially with like with Anya, but oh my god, why am I blanking? There's your Forger, then who's the fake husband again?
Forger.
Lloyd Forger.
Yeah.
Like seeing Lloyd Forger, like how he kind of goes through parenthood for the first time, basically. Like, are there some things you're like, oh man?
Yeah. There's been some things, but I don't know. I guess in general, I don't think about it too much when I'm watching it, which might sound weird to say, but there definitely has been some moments to where it's just like it. I don't know. It's just, I think because of the show being so wholesome in general, it just really just warms my heart a lot of times, just seeing them coming together to do certain things or certain tasks and stuff, and just trying to figure out this whole family life thing, whatever. So yeah, it definitely has some moments and stuff that has really hit me for real. So yeah.
I was just always wondering, like, I wonder how like a parent feels about this, because it's just so like, I think he was talking about, there was one where it's like Yor was telling Lloyd, like, you have to be patient or something like that with her, and because she's a kid. She's a kid. She doesn't know what's going on. Like, she might read minds and stuff, but she's still a child. You can't drill stuff into her. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, there have been some moments like seeing like Anya try to interpret what she reads or whatever, of like oh, she's reading somebody's thoughts, or even somebody just saying something, and she just like having a whole different a childlike perspective of like, oh, this is what this means. It just makes me think about stuff when I'm trying to like explain stuff to Vash sometimes. As I'm like, make sure I slow down and I'm try to be as clear as possible of like, hey, this is what Dada is talking about, not this other thing or whatever. So yeah.
So I love that show. So I'm excited to watch season 2. I'm glad that it got picked up for season 2. I'm glad people really like vibe with the show. I think
Yes.
Anya is a big selling point. Anya and Yor, I think, are big selling points for the show.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna lie, for the girls, Lloyd. And then you got Yor, and then of course, like, we love Anya. She's so cute.
I've also seen some of the ladies on the timeline have a thing for Frankie as well.
I'm gonna need them to stop. That was one scene where he was in disguise. So that's what I'm thinking of, right? Where he was in disguise, he looked kind of cute in his disguise. That's the one, that's Frankie, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need them to chill. Okay, that is not what that man looks like. That is his disguise. He does not look like that. Okay,
Yeah.
y'all gotta calm down. I keep seeing girls be like, "Hear me out. I don't want to hear you. You watch the rest of the show. Remember who he is, what he actually looks like." Now, if you post him as what he actually looks like, and you're still thirsting after him, okay. But the disguise, come on.
Now,
It's a catfish.
I was say because like, and just for listeners, just a reminder, Frankie is Lori's kind of like go-to guy who hooks him up with the little afro and stuff. So, but yes, I'm okay, whatever floats your boat. Similar question with you and with My Hero. Are you an anime only on that one, or what's the situation with My Hero?
I would say for My Hero, I'm mostly an anime only with that. Like, I'm a little bit ahead of where season 6 is starting,
Yeah.
but I can tell you right now, like, I think a few episodes into season 6, it's gonna be where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I again, it just goes back to, like, I don't typically whatever, like, I don't really read manga that I'm actively watching, because what it is like I can't always experience it twice, because sometimes I'll be like, okay, I already know this is happening, so I already know what's gonna happen next. That's why it took me forever to catch up on Attack on Titan, because I'd already finished it. So everyone's like, oh my god, this is going down. I tried to watch it, but I was like, I already know what's happening. I already know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, because for me, sometimes I need that distance between when I've read and watched, because
if it's been like a year or some change, then I could do it. But if I had just caught up, or it's still kind of like the Attack on Titan ending, without spoiling anything, it was really like, it really stuck with me.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of, even it's been like a year and some change, it's still very fresh in my mind because of how much it stuck with me. So I just haven't had the desire to catch up. So that's kind of how it is with My Hero. It's like I watched the anime first.
Yeah.
I watched the anime first, and I started reading the manga. But then I was watching the anime and reading the manga at the same time, and I was like, okay, one of these got to go, because I'm getting bored with both, because I can't experience the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So I've been sticking mainly to the anime, and plus I'm a huge fan of Daenerys Quinones, and she voices Mirko. So I'm just excited to see her tear it up in the dub. So
yes. So yeah, and that My Hero had a really dope first episode back as well. They like,
I saw a clip of Mirko. I was like, oh, that's my girl.
Yeah, they are they are wasting a little time, like, just like, hey, y'all know what this arc is about to be. Let's dive into it.
Yeah, it's gonna be dark. I know that.
Yeah. Now I will say, for listeners out there, be careful on Twitter or any social media clicking on the hashtag for My Hero. Yeah. Because I'll say even more so now, because while of course, like with series in general that have an ongoing manga or whatever, of course there's always chance of spoilers or whatever, but I feel like this is even more heightened, because not only is the manga still going, but the manga is in its final arc. So don't be like, oh hey, the new episode is going on, let's see what people are talking about on the hashtag, because maybe you'll get stuff from the new episode, maybe you get spoilers from the chapter, and
tread carefully.
They
got me. Tread carefully. I got.
I'm like, hey, oh, so and so's character name is trending, let's see what's going on. You might not want to see what's going on.
You don't want to know why that person is trending. That has happened to me so many times. I'll be like, oh, this person from my favorite anime is trending, what's going on? And I'll click on it, I'm like, y'all didn't have to. I was like, I did that to myself. So don't do it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure I put that out there, like I said, especially like I said with My Hero being in its final arc. make sure y'all be extra cautious about that. So,
Yes.
one more I'll touch on too that you also mentioned that I'm also excited about is To Your Eternity season 2. I'm ready for the pain.
I'm an anime only on that, and I'm gonna stay
Same
an
here.
anime only. And the reason why is because I can't experience this heartbreak twice. Like that one, I'm like, nah.
Yeah, cause like,
Oh, you froze a
cause
little bit.
oh.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so with To Your Eternity, because like after watching that first season and how devastating that was, um, every time I would go into like the Barnes and Nobles or whatever after season 1, and I would just just like pick up like some like the later volumes or whatever, and just like look at the cover, and I'll be like I don't know who these characters are, but I know that all of y'all are probably gonna die horribly, and
Yes.
I'm like they're gonna get us to love you to love you. Oh, this character is so awesome. I enjoy them, and then they're gonna snatch you away horrifically, like they did with everybody else.
Yep.
So it was just like every time I would go and like, oh, a new volume. Let's see who's on the cover. Okay, I'll keep you in mind. And so now I'm like looking at like the little the poster for season 2, and I'm like, all of y'all are probably gonna die. So
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I did like a list on Twitter, like anime that I really enjoyed, but I'm never ever watching again for emotional reasons.
yeah,
And I love To Your Eternity, and I'm gonna see it all the way through to the end of the story.
yeah,
But when it does wrap up, I'm never watching it ever again because
yeah,
it's so heartbreaking, and it's such a beautiful story. It's so beautiful, the animation, the music, the message behind it, and I think this is great storytelling, the way you can get attached to so many characters and then cry when they get taken away from you. But it's like it's a pain I can only experience one time. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
when this wraps up, I'm not coming back.
Yes, exactly. So switching gears a little bit, a very big one that many of us have awaited probably a decade to come back. And of course, I am talking about Bleach with the 1,000 Year Blood War arc. I am, I'm excited. It looks like they are throwing all the budget.
That's what it's been looking like.
Yeah. So, or are you a Bleach fan? Did you care for Bleach?
Okay, so I ain't gonna lie to you. Okay, so let me be real. All
No.
right. So okay, so I watched Bleach for the first time when I was really, really young. I think I was like in elementary school.
Yeah.
And I it just wasn't because I wasn't super into shonen at the time.
Yeah.
I had the I Yu Yu Hakusho was my favorite anime, but it was like one of the few shonen that I really enjoyed. I
Mm-hmm.
was mostly into like a lot of shoujo and slice of life, so like Peach Girl and Nana and Karakano and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just wasn't like it. I was just like, this is too much testosterone for me. And then when I got older, like I think when I was like in my early 20s, I started trying to pick it up again, and I liked it, but it just wasn't. And I made it pretty far, but I just
Yeah.
wasn't like super invested in it. But so I'm not like a huge Bleach fan. I think out of the big three in general, Bleach is probably like the one that I enjoyed the most out of the
Yeah.
big three. But it's not like something that I'm super into. But I will tell you this though, I'm really loving all like the Bleach. Oh, this cat's trying to come to the apartment. I'm really loving like all like the Bleach stands having this moment because they
Yeah.
look so happy. It's like I'm seeing people that like I see people like they're like, I will not apologize to the person I'm gonna become when this drops. Like, and just seeing people get so excited for it, like it makes you. I like seeing people just be really hyped for it. I know people like Bleach. I noticed that Bleach fans get kind of like a lot of crap sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm happy to see them like really enjoy this moment. But yeah, I have been wanting to actually get deeper into it because I do love Yurichi. I do love her.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm madly in love with her. But it just hasn't been something I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like I don't know. I just wasn't. I've never really been into the big three in general. I
Yeah.
just started getting into One Piece, but like yeah, I'm like 40 episodes into One Piece. It's it's gonna be a minute before I catch up to everybody else. But
hey. The important thing is that you started. You know that's all most of us One Piece fans ask is, hey, you know, we're not saying, hey, you gotta have it completed tomorrow. Just say, just dip your toe into the pool and.
Let me tell y'all something though. One Piece fans, I feel like y'all, I deserve some compensation for the emotional damage that I've gotten. Like, because I started watching, I was like, let's go. I'm like, this is just gonna be an anime about pirates. This is gonna be an anime about pirates. It's not that deep. And then they got to freaking Nami's story, and I was like, okay, I deserve compensation for this. Like, y'all need to pay for my therapy or something. But so I was like, I was not prepared. I was like, man, this is oh my god, Sanji's story when the guy that he took off he ate his own leg. I was like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like, no, y'all owe me. I feel like I'm owed some type of compensation for this. I was not prepared. But yeah, so I'm not super like, I'm not like hyped for like the Bleach art to come out because I'm just not invested in the series. But I really am happy to see like, I'm like all the cosplayers coming out and cosplaying their favorite characters and people just getting really hyped and excited for it. And I just love seeing like anime fans happy because I know what it's like to like for a show to never get like its proper due and it finally comes back. Like, I'm a huge Devil is a Part-Timer fan, and they finally did season 2 after like 8 years. So it's like, I know how that feels when you're just sitting here like, so y'all just gonna leave us in the dark like that? So I get it. So I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, I was trying to find. Hold on, I'm trying to find something real quick because I want to. Of course, everything wants to load slow when I need it.
I get it.
If I can find it. No, that's not the one. Well, maybe if I find it. If not, it's all good. But I was gonna give a shout out to the homie Unbothered Mike from Blanime with his Ichigo cosplay, which I know I had got a picture of with him.
That was a highlight. That was one of the highlights of DreamCon. I've learned that Mike with a wig is a different Mike. The wig gives him power. He was like flipping it, parting it. He was having a good old time in that wig. I was like, Mike with a wig is a problem.
Yes. So yeah. Shout out to Mike from Blanime for because he's definitely been on the front lines.
I have a video of him that I posted on Twitter where he was like, I bankai on these heathens. Bible study of Bleach. And I was like, you need to go. You need to go.
Yes. So, yeah, I can't find it. Oh well. Check Twitter, y'all will see it somewhere. I'm just waiting for it to be for somebody outside of the community to use his image and something talking about Bleach at some point. I'm just waiting and stuff. So, but yeah. Shout out to Bleach. I'm excited for it to be back after all these years. And for Kubo the author to hopefully get a chance to kind of make things how he wanted to originally, because I still never forget in the lead up to the ending of the series or whatever, like it just got rushed out of nowhere because we were reading, all of a sudden it was just like Bleach is ending in X amount of chapters, and so it's like, wait, trying to do like the mental gymnastics of like, okay,
how you gonna wrap all this up?
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right, we gotta cover this character, this thing, that thing, and then just having that slow realization of like, we're not gonna get back to that character, that thing isn't gonna be wrapped up, and it's over. So yeah.
Wow. Love like this kind of era that we're in anime where we're taking shows and series that didn't really get their like just due the first time around, and we're kind of giving them a second life. Like when Fruits Basket came out when I was a kid, the anime for Fruits Basket came out when I was a kid, but at the time the manga was still ongoing.
Yeah.
So there was this major plot twist that happened in the manga later on that kind of changed the course of things. But
Mm.
it happened after the anime, and they couldn't really incorporate that plot
Yeah.
twist into the anime. Try not to spoil anything for anyone who
Yeah.
hasn't seen it.
Me.
And so they ended up they ended up kind of prematurely ending the Fruits Basket anime, and it didn't get the ending it deserved. There were
Yeah.
the last episode straight up did not happen in the manga, like it was just made up. So, so years later when they came out, they did the Fruits Basket, the complete story, the complete 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And they were able to give that beautiful story the ending it deserved. Same thing with them doing a season 2 of Devil's a Part-Timer, because the first season came out, loved it. The story continued in the manga and the light novels, but they just didn't renew it, and now they finally are continuing with the second season. And now with Bleach, and I love this thing where reboots and sequels are kind of the thing now.
Yeah.
But anime, what I love about anime, what they're doing is that they're not just rebooting and giving sequels to series that don't really need it. They're doing it for series that didn't get to have the what they deserve, basically.
Yeah.
Like for manga that didn't get the anime that they deserve, for anime that didn't end the way that it should have.
Yeah.
And they're giving them a second chance, a second life for a newer audience. So I love that we're kind of in that era with anime, where it's like, okay, there's a lot of reboots and sequels, but it's like with a purpose,
Yeah.
instead of taking a property that didn't need anything else and you're just going to bring it back just because. It's like with anime, I feel like they're doing it with a purpose, and that's really I really appreciate it.
Yep. Same here. So, what's another one on your list that you're looking forward to?
All right, so here's some like underground, kind of like, little underground gems I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. So, well, this one isn't really underground, but I'm excited for it. It's the going back to like reboots and sequels, actually. Yurusei Yatsura, which was like I think it was like the mermaid one.
Oh,
no,
yes.
she wasn't a mermaid. Was she a mermaid or alien? It's been years since I've seen it, but I really loved it. So I saw that when I'm trying to like make sure I get this right. Because I saw the original, or I like read and watched the original like Yurusei Yatsura back when I was really, really young.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember like a whole lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember just thinking it was really beautiful. I'm trying to remember the plot of it because I want to make sure I'm not. Yes. So she's like an alien, basically.
Okay.
But she's like an alien, and she's just always in like a swimsuit, and she's just like being kind of like just fun and silly.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it when I was really, really young. And she's not a mermaid. I don't know why I thought she was a mermaid, but I remember watching it when I was really, really young. And I thought it was just super cute and fun, but I don't remember much the rest of it because I was not fully sentient then. I was a child. So seeing that it's getting rebooted and put out again as an adult, I'm excited to kind of dive into it and like pick up on some things I didn't. And I love that the anime, it's modern animation, but the style is still very retro, very 80s.
Yeah.
So they kind of just made it more crisp, but it's just still like in that 80s style. So I'm excited for that. There's also
real quick, I just want to mention because that's also one that I'm interested in checking out as well, because I've never read or watched the original series, which I was looking up. I knew it was a while back, and the original manga was from 1978 to 1987.
Yeah, it's an oldie. I forgot how I found it too. I think I found the original Yurusei when I was a kid, and you were on crazy websites trying to find all kinds. It was back when the internet was kind of a lawless land. You're just watching anime on sketchy websites because it wasn't as accessible as it is now. And I remember I came across it and it wasn't dubbed or anything, and that's probably why I don't remember what exactly happened. But I just remember watching it and being like, "Oh, this is colorful and fun and pretty and all that."
And something else to point out too for listeners that might maybe make y'all maybe want to check it out, whatever, is that this series is also done by the same creator who did Inuyasha.
Yes.
Back in the day, Rumiko Takahashi. Yes. So
I forgot about that. That is true.
so that, as well as Rama 1/2.
She's a very successful mangaka.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, you can go into the next one.
And then I have like 4 more. If that's okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right. So there's another one called Raven of the Inner Palace. So this one, it's a Japanese anime, but it takes place in China, from what I understand. But it's
Yeah.
not like a donghua or anything like that. It is a Japanese anime, but it just takes place in China, and it's about basically this woman. She's like a consort for the king, but she
Yeah.
doesn't like do her job of like a consort or whatever. She just kind of like she's very mysterious. So some
Yeah.
people say that like they meet her and like she has the face of a really old lady. And then some people are like, nah, when I saw her, she was young. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? And she has like these magical powers and she solves mysteries. She gives people closure. She helps people out. She uses her powers and stuff to help people. And then she meets a guy who, from what I understand, I think they end up falling in love with each other and things get complicated.
Sorry.
What's your
No, it's
ice cream?
okay.
What?
What's your ice cream?
No, baby, you already had ice cream. Go play.
He is so funny.
Yes. Sorry.
No, but oh, sorry. But yeah, so like I think from what I understand is like the two fall in love and they end up having like this kind of like complicated situation going on. So it looks to me it gave me from what I saw from the plot, not so much the animation style, but the plot. I don't know if you remember the anime Holic from like way back
Oh,
in the day.
um, yeah, yeah,
It was like
yeah.
XXX Holic,
Yes,
but it was
yes,
like but it's
yeah,
pronounced Holic.
yeah,
The plot kind of gives me that kind of vibe where it's like this mysterious woman with powers who does different things for people and very she's a mystery,
yeah.
but there's a bit of this romance vibe in it that wasn't really prominent in Holic. So I'm excited to kind of see that because it just reminded me of that.
Yeah,
Um
that's actually one that I'm also interested in checking out as well. Cause I think maybe like a week or so ago, I think they did like a new trailer or something, whatever, for it. It's some event or whatever,
and
and
it looks beautiful.
yeah, and they show like a few minutes of footage from the first episode, and so I watched in that because before that it wasn't even on my radar or whatever, and
Mhm.
so I saw it, I was like, so I added it to my list of stuff I'm gonna check out. So which actually I think episode one came out today as well. So
Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll.
okay, so
I
yeah,
haven't seen it yet. That's also the thing I'll be watching tomorrow,
yeah,
like my Sunday anime day.
yeah,
So there's that. There's also so this was one that I'm really it's like probably one of the ones I'm most hyped for aside from Chainsaw Man. Bochi, I think it's called Bochi the Rock.
yes,
So I'm excited for that because it's about this girl. She's learning how to play guitar and she wants to start a band, but she's like super shy and this, just going through this journey of trying to have her rock star dream but come out of her shell.
yeah,
And I have not seen a trailer for it. I've not seen anything of it other than like what I saw on like my anime list and stuff.
yeah.
But the reason why I really want to watch it is because I don't know if you remember this anime that came out. I think it's like 2004. I think
hmm
it's one of my favorite anime. Beck, Mongolian Chop Squad.
I have heard of it. I have not watched it, but I've heard good things about that. Which
I love that show.
shout out to Ran from Kami House podcast because they was talking about that a few months back. So
Love
yeah.
that show. So that show is about, this boy named Koyuki who he learns how to play guitar. He's also very shy. He becomes a part of a band. He goes on this whole journey. I used to play guitar as a kid and
Oh.
I was playing at around the same time that I saw Beck for the first time. So it was like
Mm,
watching it's like I was going through my music journey at the same time that Koyuki was.
yeah.
So I'm excited. So like when I read the plot for Bochi Rock, it kind of reminded me of Beck.
Yeah.
So, but it's like a girl this time. So I'm excited just to see this girl like pick up music and learn guitar and see her go on this musical journey because that just gives me a nostalgic feeling. I'm a huge music nerd, so just getting to see someone go through their journey always reminds me of my own journey. And also I'm curious to see if they'll do any like music references because
Oh
in
yeah.
in Beck they made references to Nirvana, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine, um, all these different things. So I'm curious to see if they'll do any music references in this one. Like, is she gonna be like a Janis Joplin fan or something? Like, what are they gonna
Yeah.
do? So there's that. Um, there's a kind of horror one called Sea Danchi, and
Yeah, I saw Moody talking about that. I think.
that one, I can't remember when it comes out. I know it's in October. I just can't remember when it comes out. But basically, it's this girl. She moves into an apartment, and a bunch
Yeah,
of scary, crazy stuff starts happening.
housing complex C.
Yeah. So she moves into like
Yeah,
this apartment, and apparently bad things follow her wherever she goes. And when she moves into this apartment, even crazy stuff starts happening. So I'm excited to see that. I'm not a huge horror anime fan. There's some
yeah,
that I like,
yeah,
but the reason why I don't get into horror anime that much isn't necessarily because it's scary. It's because anime doesn't scare me, but it's more so like,
yeah,
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of horror anime that just really speaks to me.
yeah.
So I don't get into it, but this one looks really good. So it looks kind of like a psychological thing going on. So I'm into that.
So this one, because I remember something else about this one that stuck out in my mind too, whatever. So this one actually is going to premiere tonight on Adult
Oh, let's go.
Swim, and
Oh,
yeah, so this
we're
is the
gonna watch
one.
it.
Well, I'm about to say, so it's going to premiere on Adult Swim every Saturday night, and then it's going to be on Who? No. Is it Hulu or HBO Max? HBO Max tomorrow.
Okay. All right. I have HBO Max. I could do that.
So
I was like, we're gonna watch it.
yeah, cause I remember saying when I was looking into some stuff about this whatever the other day, and I was like that's interesting that it's debuting on TV and then going to one of the a platform the following
Yeah.
day or whatever. So but yeah, so cause I was curious, cause I was looking at the little thing on the Annie list, and it was like airing in 2 hours. I was like, what
Oh.
time is it?
I wonder if I could get Adult Swim. This is like a side comment. I'm gonna try
Yeah,
so I could get Adult Swim on my TV tonight and watch it.
yeah,
But that's gonna be really good. So that's exciting.
yeah.
And then my final one is okay. So my final one, I'm watching this because I'm not even kidding. At least like 10 people have either tagged me in this, DM'd it to me, texted it to me, and it's when I tell you what it is, it's gonna be very clear why. So it's called I think it's a hold on, it's on my phone. Romantic Killer. And this girl,
Yeah.
she is obsessed with cats, obsessed with anime and manga. She's a huge nerd. She's obsessed with cats.
Yeah.
That's why people keep tagging me in it because they know how I am. And basically she kind of gets thrust into like a real life like Atomi game, like those dating sim
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
So she gets kind of thrust into like a real life one, and they're like, okay, you're gonna find the love of your life, but the entire time you're doing this, you can't have access to any of these things. No cats, no nothing. And so people have been tagging this to me like, oh my God, this is definitely Erica. Like, she's going to freak out. Like, she would not like this. Da, da. And I was like, you right. Because if someone said you got to find your love of your life, but you have to leave your cats behind, but I'm going to be alone. I don't care. Wherever I am, my cats, Sushi and Wasabi, they are with me. But yeah, I've been getting DMs. I've been getting DMs on Twitter. I've been getting DMs on TikTok. I've been getting tagged in it on Twitter. I've been getting people texting me about it, FaceTiming me about it. I cannot tell you, like, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I love that people know that if there's something involving cats, that they gotta let Eri know. But it's been so funny, so that's why I'm definitely tuning into that one. It's gonna be on Netflix.
Yeah. So it's gonna be coming October 27th. So at the end of the month, right before Halloween.
I'm like, and I'm, you know, we'll see.
Yeah.
No promises being made, but I'm gonna try to see if I can make some content on it too. Because like
Yeah.
I have never had this before where people just keep tagging me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, cause
That's my list.
I believe that one also I think the physical versions of the manga is actually going to be coming out sometime this month as well. If it hasn't, I don't know. I don't know if Volume 1 is already out or it's coming soon.
It's like coinciding, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see how that one goes. I might end up checking that one out myself. So a few on my list. I'm gonna touch on some of the big ones briefly, just because I know people talk about these a million times. But so sports wise, Blue Lock. I'm interested in that because I had read volume 1 back in the summer, and I really enjoyed it. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I got a little taste. That's all I need. I'll just watch the rest of the anime. But just for those who don't know, so with Blue Lock, like I said, soccer anime to where basically this organization gathers. I think it's like 300 of the best soccer players from the whole country because Japan's national team was defeated in the 2018 World Cup, and so they basically create this facility called Blue Lock, to where they're trying to find the best striker to help lead them to a national championship. And so from what I read in that first volume, this is definitely very action heavy, but it also kind of deals with some of like the more like, I felt like more like psychological aspects, because it's a lot of like, trash talking, mind games, and stuff like that or whatever. So Blue Lock, high on my list of stuff to check out, which is pretty awesome getting back-to-back soccer anime, because I freaking loved Aoashi so much.
I've been hearing good things about that.
Yes, it was so good, which I was going to mention this earlier in the show, but I will be doing a summer season review, probably next episode, where I kind of go through and talk about the finality of that summertime running. A lot of good stuff ended last season. But yeah, so Blue Lock, the other big one, Mob Psycho 100 season 3.
Yes.
I'm excited for that, and this should be the final season, from what I know and from what I understand, because I know in the lead up to this season, a lot of people were saying that from where season 2 ended off.
Oh, you're frozen.
Okay. So I heard a lot of people mention that like from where season 2 ended, that there wasn't too much more material left in the manga. So season 3 should be the final season. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I know it's gonna look freaking out of this world visually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been seeing like little clips of like the trailer and stuff go around. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Golden Kamuy season 4. I still need to go. I still need to finish season 3, but that's a series that I know a lot of people don't really know about or talk about or whatever. But I definitely had to give it a shout out. Actually, there's a couple. There's one called Do It Yourself. It is it's a, let me see the synopsis of it or whatever. Building furniture and friendships have a lot in common. Intention, effort, and hard work are needed for both crafts. This is a story of girls in a DIY club building both as they carve out their futures. And so,
that sounds nice, like a nice slice of life.
Yeah. So what I saw, like the little trailer, and like I said from the synopsis I just read, I was like, this is gonna be like a fun little like wholesome show of like these girls in a DIY class just making stuff and making friendships. So I'm looking forward to that one. That one's gonna be debuting October 6th, so sometime next week. The other one, now this is one that I had started watching a little bit before we were recording, that I originally wasn't even going to really look at, but I gave it a shot. So it's called My Master Has No Tail. So it involves a tanuki and Japanese rakugo. So the art of rakugo is something that I'm still fairly new learning about, but the another new manga series that came out earlier this year on Shonen Jump, Akane Banashi, I've loved that series, and it's been like a great introduction for me into that art form. So rakugo is basically kind of like a form of like a stage play, but it's like where a single person is telling a full story, but they're acting out the parts of all characters involved within the story. And so this Master Has No Tail, from the little bit that I've watched, because like I said, I didn't get to finish all of episode 1, but I know it's something about it involves this mischievous Tanuki who is going into town for the first time. Something because something about her father used to frequent this town a lot back in the day, but the elder of their village or whatever, which it is, it was just so funny. Hold on. So yeah, so there was like a moment like early in the episode to where, like I said, like for whatever reason, like the main little Tanuki girl or whatever, um, for whatever reason she's going into town, or I guess to the city I should say, something related to pay honor to her. Cause I'm guessing that the dad passed away or something, whatever, from the way that they were talking. But she was supposed to be going there to like do something related to him or whatever. And the elder, which it was just the art style of this is just like so cute, just because it's like showing all these characters in their actual like Tanuki form. So it's like this like old looking Tanuki, just telling this little younger one, being like, hey, go into town, do what you need to do, then come back home, because things aren't how it used to be when your dad was out there, whatever. People aren't going to fall for your tricks or whatever, because and I guess for a lot of people who don't know, Tanukis are basically kind of like raccoon looking creatures in like Japanese myth, to where but they do a lot of trickery and stuff, whatever. And so anywho, so she gets to town or whatever, and of course she's immediately like of course I'm gonna do some mischief or whatever. Like what, like screw that old man. Like, do you think I spent years honing my craft to not be mischievous? And so she's going around trying to play all these pranks or whatever, but they don't work in the modern day, because like for example, she like disguises herself as like a floating flame at night, and a guy walking by, he was like, oh my god, what was that? But then the street lights turned on, and he's like, wait, you're a Tanuki, get back here, and like chased her off. She tried to go like with like a pile of money, which is basically just like a bunch of leaves that she transformed into money or whatever, to try to buy something or whatever. And then first of all, it was like the lady at the shop, she was like, you're a bit young to have like that much money. And so she's telling you to get up to the light, and then like the coworker is like, do you notice a watermark or whatever? And then the money turns into a leaf, and they're like chasing her off. And then like the little girl, she's baffled, she's like, wait, what is a watermark? Wait, street lights? And so all these little tricks, whatever she's trying, it's just like failing,
like
because
not working.
Yeah, so but yeah, so like I said, it just seemed like it's gonna be like a little fun show to watch or whatever. So yeah, so that's one that's on my radar. Let me pull back up the list. There was another one. There's one called Eminence in Shadow. I don't know too much about it, but it sounded cool. It looked cool. I'll check it out. Season 3 for Welcome to Demon School, Arumakun.
Oh yeah, I heard that one's good. I haven't started, but I heard it's good.
I haven't either, and so I'm like, okay, they got season 3 out, so something good is going on.
Like somebody's watching this
and stuff. So, but yeah, so I've heard good things about that. So I'm like, okay, I might probably won't be this season, right? But I'm like at some point I need to check that show out. Let me just scroll through. I'm just seeing, is there any other ones that like really stick out? Because there's some other ones that I'm like, I'll maybe watch an episode or two, whatever. Like there's something called shoot, I'm all over the place. Of course, y'all know I like my isekais. I know. But the reincarnated as a sword.
As a sword? I thought you were gonna say slime. As a sword.
Yeah, they're yeah, they have gone crazy. Hey, you think a sword is wild? I saw one a while back about reincarnated as a vending machine.
A vending machine. Yep.
And,
can I tell you real quick? Can I tell you like why I have a hard time getting into isekais?
Yeah.
Because okay, So there's two isekais that I enjoyed. I enjoyed ReZero. Oh, I guess three. I enjoyed ReZero.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Reincarnated as a Slime.
Mm-hmm.
And I love oh my god, why am I blanking? It starts with the K. It's Konosuba.
Yeah, yeah.
Konosuba is hilarious.
I had just started that like a few weeks ago, or whatever. So yeah, I've enjoyed that one.
Hilarious. Peak comedy. It is so funny. But typically I don't get into isekais often
Mm-hmm.
because there's this thing that happens where you take somebody from the regular world, they
Yeah,
die, and they go into this new world. They're not going to see their friends ever again. They're not going to see their family ever again. Their
yeah,
life is completely changed. There's no plumbing. And you're just like, and they're just like, oh, okay, this is great. And they just go about their life like excited to do this. Me, I'd be like, who's going to take care of my cats? Who's going to talk to my friend about this? All right, who's going to delete my internet history? Like, what's going to happen? We're like, how am I going to survive without like all the books I haven't read yet? Like the shows I'm going to miss. I'm like, how am I supposed to master magic? I got to fight for my life now. Like, I would be having a crisis, but these characters are always just like, yeah, this chill, this is fun. I can't get past it, and that's why I can never get into them. Because I'm like,
yes,
y'all are too calm about this.
yes. So there's actually one that popped in my mind that I'm gonna throw a recommendation to you, especially because you mentioned the word books. Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Okay, I've heard of that one. I haven't started, but I've heard of
Yeah,
it. I don't know much about it though.
that's one that I think you might enjoy. Cause I had checked that one out earlier this year for the first time, whatever, and I immediately fell in love with it. Just because it's basically uh, this lady. She of course passed away, but she passed away because she was working at the library, and a bunch of books fell on her, and she went out doing what she loved, I guess.
Yeah.
But then she gets reincarnated into a world, and basically she her mission in this world is to bring about the ease of access of books for everybody, because of course the world in this
Oh, that's
world,
nice.
books are only for the high class, for the elites who can afford it or whatever. And so she of course has all this knowledge or whatever, and so she starts learning how to, or not learning, but she starts getting the pieces together to make her own books herself. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so that's one I definitely want to toss out there. But yeah, and one more absurd one that I heard about too. Whatever, I had to double check to make sure that I heard right or whatever. It's one called "Reincarnated as an Apple."
Okay, I'm done. I have had enough.
Yeah, so yeah, so there's no limits to what you can come back as. A sword, an
This is like
apple, vending machine.
every day I try to convince like my non-anime watching friends that anime is not that weird. It's a stereotype. It's not as weird as people make it out to be. There's some really good wholesome stuff or relatable content. Like, it's not all just that. And then there's reincarnated as an apple, and I'm like, see, see.
Yeah, yeah, but but yeah, so there's some of those that I'm interested in. Where is? Hold on, there was something. Where did it go? Do, 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 do. Okay, I can't find it there. But anyway, so I'm just scrolling through one last little time, just seeing um, anything that I feel like I need to mention that I'm gonna check out. Otherwise, y'all would just hear me talk about it. um, as the season goes on, and I talk about it on the podcast and stuff. So, but yeah, I think those are all like the major ones I wanted to highlight right now. Yeah, I'm doing a little scroll back up to the top. But yeah, and any other last ones for you, or is that pretty
Um,
much it for you as well?
yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I guess I'm kind of excited to kind of get a little bit back into my seasonal bag because I
Yeah,
haven't been watching much seasonal anime during the summer.
yeah,
There was a point in my life where I was just when I had my seasonal anime watch list, I completed it typically,
Yeah,
but I don't know if maybe because it's the summer, this past summer I've been really busy and stuff. I haven't been able to get much into the seasonal thing. I think the
yeah,
only ones I really got invested in was like Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which I can talk about for like 1,000 years. And but I haven't. So like I'm excited to kind of get back into it with the fall season. I think the fall season has some good stuff, you know.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Because there's actually couple of movies too. There's a reincarnated as a slime. Granted, we probably won't see any of these over here for a little while,
Oh yeah, the movies. Yeah,
but there is a reincarnated as a slime movie. There's a new
that's true.
Sword Art Online movie. Um, I felt like there was like something else. Slam Dunk movie.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, but anywho, no need for me to continue to ramble into jibber jabber or whatever. But yeah, but so moving on from there. So yeah, so like we just said, those are kind of the main highlights of things that we're looking forward to for the fall season. Like I said, a pretty good mix of returning heavy hitters, some new heavy hitters, and maybe even some hidden gems
Yeah.
sprinkled along in there as well. So should be a good season that will that's going to carry us into a good winter season as well to start off next year because it feels like every week there's been like more and more announcements of like, all right, this show is slated to come out, you know, January, which is the winter season of 2023 and
Yeah,
stuff.
you have some good winter stuff coming soon.
So yeah, so I'm very excited and looking forward to that stuff. So because let me see real quick because I'm not really gonna go into it too much, but I'm just like browsing.
There's also some other cool stuff. This isn't necessarily like season. It's not
Yeah.
seasonal at all, but they are in I think October 22nd, I believe. Like late October, they're going to be showing I think it's like the final weekend or second to last weekend of October. They're going to be it's the final weekend. It's October 30th. The weekend of October, they're going to be showing Spirited Away again in theaters for the first
Ooh.
time in years. And
Ooh. Cool.
that was the first Studio Ghibli film I ever saw as a kid.
Yeah.
And it has a special place in my heart. So, you know, they're going to be doing that in October. So, you know, it's not seasonal, but it's
Yeah.
just something I think people should know. Like, if you want to go see it in theaters, I never saw it in theaters. I saw it when it came out on VHS because
Yeah.
I'm almost 30. And on VHS, my mom got it from Blockbuster, if anyone remembers that. and
Yeah.
and I never saw it in theaters, and then we eventually ended up buying the VHS. I'm gonna keep saying until people Google what a VHS is, and I so I never saw it in theaters. I saw it when it came out, and when it came out on tape. So I'm excited to see it, to experience it in theaters, and kind of have my inner child. So anyone who wants to experience just that inner child moment,
Yeah.
just heads up.
Cool.
Check your local theaters.
Yeah. So I wanna let me see if I can find it real quick because speaking of dates on stuff, there was a manga I talked about at the end of last year, beginning of this year, called it's a psychological thriller called
Mhm.
My Home Hero. Now there is currently no uh it's not licensed in English yet, so the volumes and stuff whatever aren't out um yet, but they had announced the anime for it, and
Oh, nice.
the other day we got a trailer for it. And so just and watching the trailer and hearing just like the music,
Mhm.
I was like, yep, yeah, that is the vibe that y'all need to hit for what this series is.
Is that the one, like, I could be wrong, like someone kills his kid or his wife or something. He's on like a mission or something's going on. Like he's doing something that has to do with like,
Yes,
am I
so
wrong?
you're close. So this is the
Okay.
one where his daughter's boyfriend is a yakuza member, and he
Okay.
finds out that there's a plot to basically extort her to get money because the mother's parents are wealthy and have like a
Okay.
company or
I knew it had
whatever.
something to do with his kid.
Yes, and so basically the father finds out that this guy was planning to hurt his daughter, and so he ends up killing the guy, and him and his wife work together to get rid of the body, and then the series is like them trying to cover their tracks and to stay a step ahead of the yakuza and stuff from figuring out what happened to the guy. And so
Oh, that's gonna be good. That
yeah,
sounds good.
yeah, and so they announced that one is going to be coming out in April, so for spring of 2023. So I already said, hey, this would be my sleeper for that season.
I love that. I love that we're getting anime too that actually focuses on adults. That's always nice to see, to be honest.
Yes,
We don't, I mean, I've accepted as an anime fan that I'm just not going to get that all the time, but it's nice when it does.
yes, exactly. So yeah, so that one I'm super hyping and excited. Like I said, to see that trailer the other day, I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm ready for it. Yeah, I think that's it as far as the main things with that stuff. So, but before we get out of here, just speaking in general, has there been anything else that you've been watching or reading or thing you've been into lately, whatever that you want to talk about for a little bit?
Listen, if you want your heart broken, if you want a great soundtrack, if you want to cry, if you want to build a relationship with characters and have it all taken away from you, watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix. The full
Yes,
series is on there. It's
yes,
animation, beautiful. The soundtrack, amazing. I've been randomly sending people voice notes of me saying, I really want to stay at your house, like every day. I'm surprised no one's blocked me yet. I've been sending random voice notes of me singing that song. Um, the soundtrack is amazing. The character designs, the animation is based on the Cyberpunk franchise,
yeah,
the game. Not just it's based on cyber. It takes place in the world of Cyberpunk 2077
yeah,
specifically, but it's based on. Oops, sorry, I just hit my nail. It's based on like the whole like franchise that's been going on since like the 80s,
yeah,
which was written by a black gaming developer. So that's
yeah,
beautiful. And also the main character is David Martinez, who is canonically Latino.
yes,
So if you've never, I've never like, I'm Puerto Rican, so it's like really cool just to see that.
yeah,
And he just looks very like California Latino. So it was
yeah.
really kind of cool to see that. Um, Giancarlo Esposito,
Mm-hmm.
he is in it.
Mm-hmm.
He killed it. He killed that role. He really brought it all. Like everybody did amazing. Emmy Lowe, Zach Aguilar. I normally don't tell people how to watch an anime. Like if you want to watch it subbed, then watch it subbed. You want to watch it dubbed, watch it dubbed. But I do suggest watching it dubbed only because it's one, the performances are amazing, and two, because it's a very like Western American kind of storytelling with
Yeah,
the names and the places and like some of the phrases and stuff that they use. It's very like
yeah,
it translates really well in English. One of the characters literally says, it literally says, "I'm just built different," and I cracked
yeah.
up. So it's a great series, and I definitely recommend that. Been watching that, and I haven't watched a whole lot of summer anime
Mm-hmm.
or like seasonal stuff. But that was the one, or but I have the memory of a goldfish. But that's been the one that
Yeah,
has stuck out with me the most, and it's I have a video coming out about it. It'll probably be out by the time this podcast is out, but
mm-hmm.
like I've been just thinking about it nonstop.
Yeah,
So I want someone to share in these emotions with me. So
yeah.
if I have to suffer, so do y'all. But that's been my thing. I feel like I've been watching other stuff too, but that's just the one that sticks out to me. Oh, I'm also reading this manga. I would grab it, but it's kind of under the pile there
Yeah.
because it's a disorganized mess there. But there's this manga by well, it's a story written by they have a character named after him in Bungo Stray Dogs. Osamu Dazai.
Mm-hmm.
they have a character named after him in Bungo Stray Dogs. He's a real life author.
Okay.
He passed away decades ago, but he has a story called No Longer Human. And I recently bought the manga, which is they take the story No Longer Human, but they turn it into a manga illustrated by Junji Ito.
Yeah.
And it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint of heart. I'm going to say a huge trigger warning. There's a lot of terrible things that happen in this manga, childhood assaults, suicide, all these different things.
Yeah.
But it's just a really like, again, it's a story that once I'm done reading it, I'm never reading it ever again. But it's just it's so touching and so interesting. I couldn't put it down. And when you find out that it's based on like Dazai's life, like he wrote it, it's semi-autobiographical. It hits even harder. And I've been in like a sad girl mood. I think that's why I've been really appreciating Abbott Elementary, because it's a nice little palate cleanser.
Yes.
But definitely been reading that. If you're able to get your hands on it, No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai, illustrated by Junji Ito. I definitely recommend it. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking at the cover for it, and I'm like, yeah, I've definitely seen this around.
It is dark.
Yeah.
It's not new. I think it's been out for a minute, but it's been out for like probably years. But it's dark. It's very graphic, but it's a really good story. Again, though, trigger warning. It has a lot of sensitive topics. So if you don't.
I see that the original story was published in 1948.
Yes, and it was published, I believe, either shortly before or shortly after Dazai had died. Definitely a huge trigger warning. I don't recommend it for everybody. Very dark themes, but if you do enjoy, I can't even say I've enjoyed it. It's so dark. But if you are intrigued by like, really dark stories that kind of explore just the different. I think it also is like interesting way of exploring like the mental health too, because it's clear that the author had a lot of mental health issues that just were not addressed. So if you're just really interested in that kind of stuff, I definitely recommend it. Again, trigger warning: don't watch it if certain sensitive topics are not for you. But I can't deny that it's a phenomenal story. Like as dark and sad as it is, it's a phenomenal story. So again, if I have to suffer, so do y'all.
Yeah, so I'm looking. So it looks like it did come out the same year. I couldn't find out if it was before or after, but it did happen the same year. It did release the same year that he passed away.
Yeah, I found it when I was so there's like I like going to used like locally owned like used bookstores, because fun fact, you can get a lot of good manga from these used bookstores for the cheap. You can get I'm talking like old ones, new ones. They had Jujutsu Kaisen there for like a couple bucks. You know how expensive Jujutsu Kaisen is now that the series is out. So for manga readers, just to kind of save some money, check out your local used bookstores. You can find some good manga for cheap there. And that's how I found it. I found it at this bookstore that I go to. And I'm a huge Junji Ito fan. So when I saw that, I was like, let me go ahead and get that. And then I started reading it and I was like, oh boy, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I was like, I can only read this in like small doses. I couldn't binge it. But it's really interesting.
So I'm just looking like the history of this thing, and seeing that at least in some form or fashion, now it might not have been like 100% adaptation, but some parts of the story was adapted into. I see live action films. I see anime series. I see an anime movie.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
his most. I'm moving my laptop a bit because I have to charge it. It real quick. But it's one of the most. This is like, I probably should have paused my camera, but it's too late. I've committed. It's one of this is like what I do at work. I'm so sorry. I should have paused.
You all good.
This is one of Dazai's most famous works, not just in Japan but in the West too. Oh shoot! Let me pause real quick. Let me
we'll pause. Okay.
So I had to do a little change of location. But yeah, so it's one of his most like internationally like popular works, and Yeah, I can't say that I've been enjoying it because it's very sad.
Yeah,
I will say that I've been intrigued
yeah,
and I am committed to finishing it. And I don't know what kind of person I'll be when I'm done,
yeah,
but it's a, but yeah, it's excellent storytelling, and it's very autobiographical. He also, I think, there was a time where Dazai worked as a journalist, and like so some of that kind of part of the storytelling is very relatable to me. So yeah, those are like, so Cyberpunk Edge Runners and No Longer Human. If you just want to get your heart ripped out,
yeah,
watch those.
yeah.
Sorry, I usually have like lighter recommendations. Oh, I have cat manga too. If you want to read those, lighter
Yeah.
recommend.
Which speaking of, so um the other day I had recorded, which I forgot to mention at the top of the show too, whatever. But I had did my first manga haul video for the first time since like April, and so just talk about everything that I've picked up whatever over the summer. But my goal, or something I went looking for before I had recorded the other night or whatever, that Night of the Living Cat, I think it was
Oh, with
called.
the one where it's like you pet the cat and then you turn into a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna start that. I definitely plan on starting that, and I'm just gonna let everybody know if it, so it's like a cat apocalypse basically. It's like you if you touch the cats or cuddle with them or whatever, you end up turning into a cat. There's like a whole
yes.
epidemic, and I'm letting y'all know right now that that were to happen in real life, I would willingly, like, I would be like, first of
Take
all, I have no
me.
self-control. I don't care what happens. I have pet stray cats. I have taken in stray cats. I don't care. No cat is scary to me.
Yeah.
Two, and then you're telling me that if I hold them, I'm gonna turn into one. I'm a goner. Like, I would have lasted one chapter. They'd be like, we told us there was a pandemic or an epidemic of, like, you know, if you pet the cats, you turn into one, and then she just willingly walked into a horde of cats. That would be me.
Yeah. So yeah, I was trying to see if I could get my hands on it, um, to have for that or whatever. So, but it's coming out in a couple. I think Tuesday is coming out
Definitely on my list
next
of,
week. So
I've been getting people tag me that too, and that's
yeah,
going to be on my list of things to review.
yes. So yeah. So as for myself, trying to think. Like I mentioned, I've been going through and wrapping up a lot of like the summer finales. So like summertime rendering, Aoashi, Made in Abyss, and some other ones along the way, whatever. Which, like I said, I'll do deep dives into that next episode. But aside
Mhm.
from that, I've continued going through Harley Quinn.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
that show has been so good. That show has been
It's,
so
oh,
good.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm like 6 or so episodes into season 3, so I'm almost fully caught up. But
Yeah, I gotta catch up on season 3. I finished season 2. I gotta catch up on season 3.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's continued to be really good. And I'm trying to think. I feel like I at least read something. Um. Oh. Yes. I I dove deep. I dove deep back into Blood on the Tracks.
Oh, I heard that one's good too.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that was a dark one too, right?
Yes.
We're
Yes.
just like, we're just traumatizing people.
Yes. Hey. Tis the season. Is spooky slash trauma season.
Like, if y'all want to be sad, these are the Rex for you.
Yes. So of course, if y'all want to know my deep thoughts on that or whatever, I did a separate review thing on that or whatever. But uh, um, because earlier this summer, weirdly enough, on Mother's Day, which if you've read Blood on the Tracks, you'll know how messed up it was for me to review Blood on the Tracks on Mother's Day.
Oh
Uh,
man.
but I had read the first 8 volumes back then, and so I had then went and read 9 through 11 for the video, and then I couldn't stop, and I just went places and read the rest, and now I am 100% caught up with the manga, and that was a ride of a read, especially because something happened. Like I had heard about a thing, and then I got to the thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we are here now. Like I said, if you want details, go check that out. But yeah, so I caught up on that. Um, and that might have been it. As far as like stuff I had kind of been watching and reading lately, whatever. Because like I said, like my last week or whatever has been just wild and stressful and all the above and stuff. So
Yeah, I get it.
so but yeah, I think that might be it as far as what I need to talk about for this week. So yeah, so I guess we'll get ready to wrap things up. So Ari, but before we go, um, if you would, from just from different stuff that you've read, watched, whatever, and this could be across the board of anime, manga, regular TV, whatever. Give a few recommendations of things that you feel like more people should know about, more people should check out, like what you did earlier with the Reservation Dogs.
Hmm.
Give our listeners some things to put on their radar.
All right. So again, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I'm pushing the agenda.
Yes.
Two, yeah, definitely Reservation Dogs. I've also been. I'm trying to think. It's like I've watched everything that I just forget.
Yeah.
Um, Reservation Dogs, Cyberpunk, things that I think deserve more attention. Um, I started watching. Oh, actually, so this anime. This anime came out, I think, like last year. It's not new. It's not old either. It's on Crunchyroll. It's called Taisho. I think it's like Taisho Atomi. Hold
Mm-hmm.
on. Let me just look it up real quick before I like.
Yeah.
I need to make sure I. Taisho Atomi fairy tale,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on Crunchyroll. And I think more people should watch it. I'm halfway through. It's only like 12 episodes, I believe, and I'm
Okay.
about halfway through it now. And basically, it's about this guy. He's like 17.
Mm-hmm.
He gets into a. It takes place during like the early, like around like the 1920s in
Mm-hmm.
Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets into a serious car accident, and his mother passes away in the car accident, and he survives, but
Mm-hmm.
he loses the ability to use his, like, I think his right hand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he can't. So he's essentially like he's a disabled person,
Yeah.
and um, his family, especially his father, terrible father, and
Mm.
they his dad is basically just like, well, now you're disabled and you're a disgrace. I'm kicking you out the house and I'm sending you up to live on a mountain. I'm gonna tell everybody you died. And it's really terrible what they put this kid through.
Yeah.
And he ends up his dad ends up sending him like a companion to go stay up there. It's this girl who her family is in huge debt, so they essentially sold her to
Mm.
the kid's family, and she's going to be his wife. And normally that kind of premise doesn't I don't like it,
Yeah.
but what I really enjoy about the anime is that this person has a disability and he's being ostracized by his community, and it kind of dives into ableism,
Yeah.
um, and how it really is so how it just permeates our society, and also about it tackles things like mental health. Like he's struggling with depression,
Yeah.
you know, understandably. Like his mom just passed away. His father, the only other parental figure he has, is a terrible person.
Mm-hmm.
He's been banished from his family, and he's just alone. But then he ends up bonding with the girl that is sent to live with him, and he makes new friends, and he starts to kind of come out his shell and coming to terms with his family, how and the way that they are, and kind of understanding that, you know, I don't have to let this define me. I don't have to
Yeah.
let the way my family's treating me define me. And it's just a really beautiful and heartwarming story. Again, I'm only halfway through it, so I don't know exactly how it's going
Yeah.
to end, but so far I'm loving it. And it's sad at points, but it's more so uplifting.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little palate cleanser. The main girl, I'm really bad at remembering anime characters' names, by the way. But the main girl, the one that's his fiance, basically, she is a ray of
Yuzuki.
light. Yes, and the main girl is a ray of light. If you've seen Fruits Basket, she's like Toru.
Mm.
She's just a sweetheart who does nothing wrong and just loves this man, and she really loves him. She grows to love him, and it's a wonderful story. So I definitely recommend people. I think that was something that definitely went under the radar. It came out last year, and I never saw anyone talk about it. So I would definitely
Yeah.
that's
I
something that I think you need to see.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, and yeah, I've never seen, heard of this, and yeah, it came out fall of last year, which
Yeah, so it's about a
funny,
year old.
yeah, funny that you recommend it now, just the right time. So cool. I've added it to my list because I definitely, yeah, I've never heard of that, but I'm always down for some hidden gems.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
it's lovely, and it makes me feel every episode is like a warm hug. That's what it
Yeah,
feels like. So I love it. So just like, I'm not here to torture everybody. I got
yeah,
some good like I got some wholesome recommendations
yeah.
too.
Um,
Uh yeah.
one I want to ask you about real quick. If have you
Yeah.
seen Keep Your Hands Off Azoken?
No, but you know what? That's actually on my list of things I want to start because I remember it came out a while ago. And I remember thinking like, "Oh, this seems really good." And I just for whatever reason I never visited it, but
Yeah.
I've been hearing good things about it.
Yes. That definitely would fall into the realm of just some wholesome palate cleanser type of anime. Just because, especially because of and for listeners too, just as a reminder, this is the one that follows a group of girls in high school who are coming together to make an anime club, or not just an anime. They make an anime club so that they can make an anime
Yes.
specifically, and so each of the girls kind of have their specialty. Like one of them is good at like the storyboarding and stuff. One of them is really good at like the story and characters, or whatever, and then
Mhm.
uh, one of them, she's good at like handling the business and like, okay, hey, y'all two handle actually making it or whatever. I'm gonna make sure that the deals get done. Okay, hey, all right, we need a place to work. I'm gonna go out and get it done. Oh, we need money. I'm gonna go get some money. So yeah, Kanamori, that's her name, the business one of the group. But yeah, it was just a very sweet show. I loved how as like the main character, um when she is kind of like thinking of ideas and stuff, whatever, like brainstorming stuff, whatever, they actually visualize her ideas. And so she's like, oh, what if the characters are doing this, and then they get in the airplane and da da da, and all of a sudden, like, what, as she's talking, the things are like forming
Yeah.
around, and it's just really beautiful and stuff in general. But yeah, that's what I always recommend when
Oh, I
possible.
just
So
realized I do have one more
yeah,
recommendation. It just popped into my head.
yeah,
It's a manga. I feel like I gotta keep within my brand. It's a cat manga.
yeah,
It's called The Masterful Cat. Oh, what is it called? It's called The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today. And
yeah. I've heard about it.
I only have the first volume. I definitely plan on like collecting the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have the first volume, and basically this girl, she had adopted a cat that like she found it on the street and she took it in,
Hmm.
and this cat grew into a massive grown adult sized like it's a like the cat is like Shaq, okay? It's like as
Yeah.
tall as Shaq. He stands on two legs, he cooks and cleans, he does chores for her. And it's so funny because usually with cat mangas and cat stories, it's like the human is catering to the cat and it's like their world, we're just living in it. But in the masterful cat is depressed again today. The cat is taking care of the human. Like he cooks and cleans, he runs errands for her. He also reprimands her if she's spending too much time at work and not taking care of herself. He kind of like gives her an attitude like you need to stop drinking and stop doing this and get it together. And it's so funny and again just really really wholesome. I don't know where it's going because
Yeah.
the biggest mystery is that they don't know why this cat grew to there. Like no one knows,
Yeah.
no one understands. Like the girl, because when she adopted him he was a normal sized cat,
Yeah.
normal looking cat, and then he just grew, and then she asked him, she's like, why did you grow like this? And he's just like, I don't know. And he has like no explanation. But that's the biggest mystery that I think they're going to solve by the end of it, is like, why does he do this? And I don't quite know where the story is going, but I'm invested, and it's very it's sweet, but it's also just funny because I'm sitting here like, man, I have 2 cats that live with me and they don't do any of this stuff. They do nothing for me. They they create more chores for me to do. So seeing this story about a cat that's taking care of his owner is really sweet. That's my last recommendation. That's one that's like, it's so sweet.
One thing I asked you about that because I just saw this. Apparently, a few months ago, they announced it's getting an anime. Yeah.
Oh, this is like Christmas for me.
Yeah, I'm I was on the Annie listing whatever, and like
what season is coming out?
They haven't announced yet.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that's exciting.
But because when I was sitting up here like searching for it on the Annie list side or whatever, as you type in this stuff, it'll pop in like if it's anime or manga, it'll show on both sides.
Oh, I'm gonna be all
and
over
so
that.
I typed in the name and I was like, oh, there's the manga, and I was like, anime. And so I clicked on it and I saw like back in a few months ago, and they did like a whole like little illustration thing with all the characters. So like, hey, and that's an anime. So.
I'm excited for that. Yeah. Oh, that's a great announcement. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I love the manga so far. I only have the first volume. I'm actually so tomorrow I'm gonna make like a Barnes and Nobles run and probably I shouldn't and get some more manga. But the Masterful Cat is definitely like on my list of manga to keep reading. It's really good, and I love. I think sometimes again like you just need like a palate cleanser. It's a nice little palate cleanser, and it's funny because it's like, why is this cat going? This cat, there's like a scene where it goes to the grocery store and everyone is like, should we tell it to leave? Like, they're so confused. They're like, this is a cat. Like, it's a grown cat, and it's shopping. It's picking up the food. I feel like we should tell it to leave, but it's not bothering anybody.
Yeah.
But it's unsettling. It's just a really awkward like scene.
Yeah.
So it's so funny.
That is funny. Well, cool. Well, I definitely appreciate those recommendations and stuff. So I guess we'll kind of get ready to wrap things up. Of course, let me pause real quick. But as we get ready to head out, Eri, tell people where they can find you and any things that you want people to be on the lookout for.
All right, so make sure to subscribe to TsundEri on YouTube and also check out my blog, TsundEri.com. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheTsundEri and on TikTok at _TsundEri. And that's where you can find me. TikTok is just me like doing shenanigans. Like, it's anime related sometimes. It's really just, if you just want to see me do shenanigans, then that's TikTok. And then for what's coming out, so I plan on putting out, I actually just released character playlists. So I've mentioned before, I like to make playlists based on what I think certain anime characters would listen to in real life. And again, I've been obsessed with Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So I made playlists for David, Lucy, and Rebecca, my 3 faves. And that's on Spotify. You can listen to that. I also have their playlists on TsundEri.com. So if you don't have Spotify, you can still check them out on TsundEri.com. And by the time this podcast is out, I should have the actual video of me on YouTube where I explain why I picked the songs that I picked. So that's something to keep in mind. So music, I think the characters in Cyberpunk Edge Runners will listen to in real life. Really excited for that. And and I'm just going to keep putting out more videos, more blog content. I'm working on a Halloween themed video. So yeah, I'm excited to just keep sharing things with everyone, and this has been a really fun conversation. So
yes, and thank you so much for coming on. It was like I had always, of course, like I said, like from the time me and you first connecting and stuff, whatever, I was like, okay, at some point we got to link up and do something. And then like we mentioned earlier when we met at DreamCon, I was like, okay, yes, I'm gonna have to figure out something. And so when I was like looking ahead at like stuff I was planning on doing, I was like, you know what, the fall anime stuff, whatever, that sure we'll talk about fall anime, but I'm like this is an excuse for me to get to chill and hang out with Eri. It's like cool, we'll talk about some anime, but I want to just talk to Eri.
It's so funny because it's so weird how the universe works, because I remember when you had DM'd me about it, I had been thinking for like a few weeks, like, oh, I really like the Dad Needs to Talk podcast. Like, I would love to be on there. Man, I want to be on there. And then literally, like, you DM'd me, and I was like, yes, finally. So I was really excited. I just thought it was so much like I had been saying, like, man, I want to be on the podcast. Like, I want to go. I want to talk. Then, like, but I didn't know how to approach it because, like, I'm always like awkward. Like, can I be on your podcast? Like, I'm really awkward about it. So when you DM'd me, I was just like, yes, the universe heard. Like, asking, you shall receive. So I was really excited. Yeah. You're so cool and so genuine, and I love all the work that you do. You're so consistent and you're so knowledgeable. Like, you really know your stuff. So I was just really excited. So yeah, I think you're so cool.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Hearing you say that, just because it's like I mentioned, it's like I'll be so busy sometimes where I'm just like, man, like what am I doing? Does anybody care that I missed last week with the podcast?
I feel that way too. Like, I'll put out a video and I'll be like, okay, I just spent like 30 hours putting this together. Yeah. Is anyone gonna care? Or I haven't put out a video, and it takes me a minute to put out my videos because they're so like detailed. So I'm like, I haven't put out a video in like a few weeks. Is anyone gonna care? And then I always kind of remind myself, like, well, I care, and it's fun. And I think one of my friends mentioned that in a way, like our videos and podcasts and stuff, like that's our art. And we just and as an artist, like we just feel like this desire to create no matter what, because it's just inside of us. And just putting it out there is enough. And even every time I think no one's gonna care, people end up caring. So like you might not realize how many people are watching you, but they're watching, they're listening, they're tuned in, they want to know what you have to say. So
yes, for sure. And
I'm watching.
And last thing I want to say on that too is like like I mentioned earlier, I really love and appreciate everything that you do, and so I look forward to watching your journey continue and to see what other dope things that you continue to do. We will for sure link up and do something else again, because I do have a Fruits Basket on my list of things to get to, and so depending on whenever I do get around to it or whatever, more than likely we will link back up and probably maybe have a conversation or something about it. I'm not sure in what way or form I want to tackle that, but
I can write a whole dissertation on Fruits Basket. Like, listen, I'll find stuff for us to talk about.
Yes. So that amongst who knows what else, we might link up and collaborate on, but I'm very excited for the future. And as always, I'll have links to all of Eri's awesome stuff down in the description box below. And so as for myself, this has been Dad Needs to Talk. You can follow me everywhere at Dad Needs to Talk, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Instagram, even though I'm barely there. TikTok, people still follow me, even though I don't never do nothing over there. But yeah, like I said, just check out some of my manga haul I did last week, my Blood on the Tracks freak out I had last week, and just be on the lookout. Like I said, things might get a little weird with releases, whatever, in the coming weeks or months, as I'm doing a lot of family transitions and stuff, whatever. But you'll see me when you see me, you'll hear me when you hear me. But as I always say to sign off, treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga, watch some anime, play some video games, and live your best life. And with that, we are out. We will catch y'all next time. Be easy. Peace.